Oh, hey there. Welcome to D&D. My name is Joe Treff. I am your DM this evening and most. And joining me are my friends Matt, Vincent, Tina, Cara, Hannah, and Alanna. And we are all here to get today in our to celebrate Vincent's birthday.
Guns out. Although today in Boston it is rains out, gains out.
Yeah.
It's really
rains
but
out.
I'm maintaining the
today.
sunnies because eventually it's going to get chilly. We're going to need to maintain the theme.
The whole time upstairs, by the way, you guys are talking about like, oh, you should just have like a barbell and hand that out. And I was like, oh, I have one snuck down here ready to go. So perfect. We are going to play D&D tonight, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. Let me put some music on that is a little bit more...
Find some bodybuilding music.
Yeah, I should have just preloaded some bodybuilding
because it didn't exist. It's
I actually, within the Deadly Sins soundtrack, there is actually some pretty good bodybuilding music. But we are going to play D&D tonight. But before we do, a couple quick announcements. First of all, happy birthday to Vincent. We are doing this theme for Vincent's birthday. And so the person who best represents the Suns Out, Guns Out, Rains Out, Gains Out theme will get a reroll for this session. We do have a couple of different social media where you can see the different things that end up on our tables. We have encounter maps, we have miniatures, we have handouts, we have maps, all different kinds of things. And you can see that in a little bit greater detail at AlberonRPG on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and now on Patreon. If you are a Patreon subscriber, we do actually have a brand new series that is going to be released only on Patreon called After Dark. This is something that is a little bit more adult themed and not quite YouTube acceptable in that there's a lot of drinking. It's not our only thing.
That calendar's coming soon, guys.
There's a whole bunch of different things that could be under the After Dark banner, but this particular one is going to be the Deadly Sins, and this is going to be a group of people who are going to be going after a church that is impinging upon the Hell's territory as they have become a little bit too enthusiastic in their enforcement of the law. And so that will be played tomorrow, but will be up on Patreon sometime in the very near future for those of you who are subscribers. Thank you for that support, by the way. Ooh, excuse me. Last night we played Starfinder at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is our original game where the group brawled with Bastion, an individual from early in the campaign. It was a pretty good fight.
We almost died.
Yeah, it was a pretty good fight. Gibbs basically almost murdered Olive's character. It was fantastic. Damn. You can see that when it re-airs at noon on Sunday on our YouTube at AlberonRPG. We have tons of different things coming up. Next weekend, there's a couple of cool events. You can see those, and we'll announce them when we're a little bit closer. But it is time for this week's session of Courts of Everest. All right, welcome back. Before we jump into the recap with this fittingly sad music, we have to present the Suns Out, Guns Out award of the game. This is an honorary reroll. It is a real 40-pound barbell. And I think so first of all, it's so tempting because we have double Adventures in Alberon gear over in Cara. Everybody is really representing the Rains Gains mentality. But ultimately, because it is Vincent's birthday, I think it makes sense for Vincent to win the Suns Out Guns Out award.
And he's been putting in the work to actually get good muscles. Him and Alana.
Yeah, also true. When Vincent made this as a spot martial class, strength 18. So
Paladin over there.
when Vincent was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this as a theme," I made in my mind the reason I have this is because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do curls every day." I did it once, and then I forgot about it. And then today came.
Happy birthday, Vincent! It's your present.
Congratulations! You have 40 pounds.
Let me turn it over to Cara with the recap.
With the exchange rate right now, it's probably really good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wandering Hearts. When last we played. After a harrowing fight with the Guardian of the Ritual, we were left to marinate in the devastating realization that Ori and Ellie's souls were tangled up in an infernal pact that saw not only their souls, but the souls of over 10,000 others, or maybe just their memories, depending on how those souls were collected, used in exchange for power. Cheshire immediately rushed forward after we all made this realization to investigate the ritual further, realizing that it is held in place by a mythal, a very powerful object that is a binding source for rituals and a holding place for magic. Minka also observed Euthelius observing the ritual, and he seemed quite intent on it. Euthelius desperately wanted to destroy the Infernal Pact, and says that potentially the ritual would stay in place, because there are actually 7, not 6 anchors. And the 7th is the house that walks on legs. Billy did not hear this, however, as Billy, thinking about the Bone Mother, the aunties, and the house that sleeps on legs, had left the room to go observe some memories and potentially scry on said house with the aid of the Madam of Dark Reflections, attempting to barter with a single soul coin, when she in fact had 5. The Madam declined her offer, in a way.
Full stop.
When Billy refused to turn over all of the coins, leaving Billy frustrated. As she was doing this, Alyssa Ray described her journey to the group that remained behind, insisting that power was received 3 months ago by the weaker sibling, and that weaker sibling was she. She held forth her staff that did indeed seem to contain infernal power. She described her history for everyone, including her time with the Crimson Mage who trained her, who is now in a magically induced sleep. The Amber Sworn, and seeking help from them, who were largely unhelpful, except for the artificer, Kaloy Alonza, who was kind of helpful. And that their father, Elornos Isolarius, began taking trips 3 months ago when he contracted the Lunaris to help him acquire ingredients for the Crimson Mage's experiment to bring magic to all, those with and without. The group theorized on the connection between the Wake Peter Flu and the Crimson Mage's experiments, and the motives that Ori's father had behind furthering this research, and his involvement with the Crimson Mage, who is now, again, in a magically induced sleep. Rez is resummoned by Alina, and he informs us that Levistus has only one goal, and that is to escape his tomb. And he currently has the souls and memories frozen in ice around his prison and can draw power from them. Keeping this infernal pact in place would allow him to continue to draw power from even more sources. We also discover that we came very close to meeting Ellie in Darkbriar, as she was also seeking the Javan, a ship that we first saw mentioned in a note collected from the hags of the Candlestick Forest. Some unknown interruption caused the ship to leave early. Alina eventually goes to find Billy.
Who would know?
And the two discuss a plan C for preventing Ori and Ellie from spending eternity in the care of Levistus, using soul coins to barter on the Stygian exchange, and potentially Billy forfeiting her memories to ensure that this exchange stays at a reasonable and profitable rate to the Wandering Hearts. Alina made Billy promise that she would not leave without saying goodbye, as it became apparent that at some point we would be parting ways. After much discussion and much deliberation, it was finally decided that the ritual must be broken to destroy the Infernal Pact. And with the decision to sleep on it and break it in the morning, the party went to sleep. Billy, impulsive as ever, and not about to let anyone's soul or personal offense be caught in such a dangerous infernal trap, as she is most familiar with hag contracts, made the decision to break the pact in the night without anyone's interference, so that others might be protected from the Madam of Dark Reflections' ire, as breaking the ritual would cause the mirrors in her home to be shattered. Awakening just the Artificer, Euthelius, and eventually Alina, preparations were made, and the ritual was broken, ushering in the winds of change and beginning the time of turmoil. As Hearsome contacted us afterwards, informing us of what we had done, we returned to the spire. And there, Ellie fell, as it was clear she was indeed suffering from Wake Peter flu, and had maybe weeks to live. Now the party is on their way to the Aussenloch. Devastated, heartbroken, and with a new mission: to stop the return of Baba Yaga and the release of prisoners from the Onyx Fire. And Wandering Hearts. As the woods part into an open and bustling lobby of the Aussenloch Library, this is where we begin our session.
Great job. Thank you.
The walkway in the middle of a large wooden desk.
In this moment, in fact, you do. The wood parts, and as you step through the elements of this desk that is part of a living plant, as you are traveling through plants, you kind of roll out as the space shifts underneath you, and horizontally you have to kind of shimmy underneath this desk. In front of you, you can see there is a dwarf. This individual, long blonde hair that drops down and curls across their back and shoulders. They have these tiny little beads in the shapes of stars and anvils in them, and at this moment they say, "By the Dawnfather's bookend, what is the meaning of this?" And they look across at all of you as you kind of like scrape your way out from underneath this desk. You can see the other scholar behind them seems to be stammering. There is a older elven scholar off in the distance, seems to is in the middle of trying to be helped. And Hearsome, very gently and much more elegantly than the rest of you, at the very end of this group, kind of steps out and up and stretches out to his full height. You can see he kind of sneers, looking off at the stairs beyond. What are you all doing?
You said Hearsome sneers?
Yeah.
Can I...
Cheshire needs a nap.
Okay. You can see
that
the
what she said?
dwarf turns, looks at you, and says, "It's tiring times to be sure, but you can't take a nap here unless you have business."
We have business.
What business do you have?
We need information.
At this moment, you can see the person who is behind this dwarf, also wearing the Aussenloch robes of dark kind of cloth with this green X across it. It is a human woman, maybe in their 30s. They have amber hair, green eyes, and they look over at Hearsome, and they say, "Hearsome? Lord Hearsome? Thank the Fae, is it really you?" And kind of goes over. What are you trying to do with Hearsome?
Inside check on why he's sneering at the stairs.
Okay. Make an insight check.
Stairs are for peasants,
15.
boy.
It's a spiral staircase, and
Gauche.
Here's hates spirals. You're not sure. It's hard to tell, but it's certainly the staircase.
Is it like a staircase that because he's large he would not be able to walk, or is it because he? Yeah, that's the question.
No, it's a massive staircase. It's
Okay.
probably about 20 feet wide. 4 or 5 people could walk side by side. It's made out of metal, and you know that Hearsome has a tendency to like more natural things. So perhaps it is just in really poor taste.
Okay.
It's an iron staircase.
Hearsome turns over at the person who approaches him and says, "Why, hello there, scholar. My sincerest apologies for the unorthodox entry. However, my associates here have important business, and I suggest you assist them in whatever they need." And as he says this, there is a glimmer of magic that through the room,
I see.
like sparkling pink-green pollen, and you see the 2 scholars rocked on their feet. And even the person trying to sort of like go over and talk to Hearsome immediately just takes a step back. Dreamy look sinks across their face. And the dwarf kind of looks at all of you, looks at you, and they're like really getting kind of strict with Cheshire, but very friendly look now. And they say, "I reckon you're right, my lord. Please, what can I help you with, my friends and trusted associates?"
Alina is going to kind of lean into Hearsome and be like, "Hearsome, I know we left in a hurry. We got caught up in the moment," but she sort of gestures around to all of us who are like bleeding and bloody. When we tried to rest, we got interrupted. We need to rest.
"That's dreadful, and a common problem amongst mortals. Whatever you wish to do is your business, and if you need me, I'll wait outside." They'll turn.
How long do we have?
Wait.
Well, for most mortals, between 50 and 100 years.
I mean, here before they get mad at us again.
They turn and look over and say, I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh.
You won't be longer than a week, will you, Minka?
Oh, I hope not.
Very well.
I'd walk up to one of the scholars and say,
Billy would try to catch Hearsome alone before he leaves.
Okay.
Can you please find us like a private room where we can rest and do some research, and we'll give you more details after we get settled on what research we're looking for.
Certainly.
We need full access to the library.
Of course, you have full access to whatever you need.
All the way down.
Well, you'll need to speak to the scholars and residents down there, of course, but assuming you have an appointment, that won't be a problem.
Can you schedule us an appointment? It's an emergency.
Make a persuasion check.
Locked in.
Fuck! No.
That's not good.
Is the word coming on too strong?
Yeah. He's punching through the magic that is making them nice to us.
I like that.
Do I get a... No.
They got me pretty
Took
good.
my thing.
Just punching through the magic they got. Okay. So, in this moment, they look over at you and they say, "Of course, I'd be happy to help you." And they go reach under the desk, kind of timidly at first, but finding everything as it should be now, kind of pulls out this little book. They flip it open and they say, "Which scholar is it with them?"
Joe,
Oh,
question, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Does Ballas
Make a flat
remember?
intelligence check at disadvantage because this
You have
is
no memory.
tugging
No,
many of the
he
did
memories
get
that
some
you do
back,
not
though.
have. However, as you think about this, on the edges of some of those frayed strings, there are connections to names.
A single D4. That will definitely tip this.
Billy, you catch here some kind of right at the entrance, and we'll get back to that in a second.
I would like to use my weep.
Look at him go. Was that because your leg was also starting to fall?
I had it there to remind me I had a reroll. It was a very poignant reminder. And
the
also,
last time you had one, you forgot.
yeah, also I rolled a 3 for one of those, so let's see. All right. Question. Now that I've used this reroll, I rolled initially with disadvantage.
Yep.
It was a 3 and a 13. I rerolled the 3 into a natural 20.
And you roll another one because you're rolling at advantage or disadvantage. So when you re-roll...
Oh, I'm not re-rolling just one dice?
No.
Oh.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah!
Happy birthday!
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
With the natural 20, you actually come up with 7. And from this particular location, you remember there was an individual who you didn't really know super well, but Elelia Ventresci is a elf who you remember was trying to craft a sentient spellbook that forms bonds with its owner. It didn't go super well. They always had paper cuts. And then you remember there was an individual named... It was a very odd individual. And weird that this is coming up into your brain now, but they were called Vorn. And you know that they were studying something called the Silent Epoch, which is an era of incredible magic that just never seems to have existed. It's like very hard to find documentation of. And a lot of people don't really know where Vorn came from or when he arrived. But that's somebody who's here too.
Vorn or Vorn?
Vorn. V-O-R-N.
All right, so those are the 2 names I remember?
Yep.
I will say Vorn.
Oh, okay. Not many making appointments with him. Interesting. I'll go down and let them know. Are they expecting you already, or is this a future appointment, or when is this for?
As soon as possible.
Well, we could walk down right now and see if they're ready.
That would be perfect.
Some of us really need to rest, but you guys don't need as much time, right? So
What time is it right now
What?
in the
It's
world?
4:30 p.m.
Does he have
in
couches?
the world.
Oh, does he?
Okay.
Does he have couches down there?
He turns and says, there's not couches necessarily, but on some of the floors there's nice little nooks that are protected by silent spells to allow people to really have a uninterrupted reading experience. But I was going to give you a study room.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you. Yes.
whisper to Ori. In case this meeting goes, maybe tomorrow morning, just in case this meeting... Oh, maybe, thank you. Maybe we should schedule the meeting for tomorrow morning, because if the meeting goes bad, we could get kicked out. So maybe we'll take a day
care about the meeting. We just need to get down there.
Again, this meeting could go bad, and we'll get kicked out of here, and we'll lose any chance we have to read the books while we're here.
Or once we get down there, he'll realize he doesn't know us and make us leave. But we have free reign of the stacks, right?
Oh, you have free reign of wherever you'd like to go in the publicly accessible parts of the Aussenloch.
What
So
floors are the publicly accessible parts of the Aussenloch again?
you can go all the way from here up to the 18th floor, top of the line, the Arcane Collection, and then you could go as far down as the Scholar's Sanctia on the 9th floor. From there, you'd need to be accompanied by somebody. Vorn could take you, of course.
Okay.
You guys only need 4 hours, right? So why don't we start to rest and you can go down and research and then come back and...
Whatever. Yes.
What is it that you're researching, by the way? Because I could go get something for you if you're looking.
Study room.
There are many things, but
Easy, champ.
could you book a meeting for tomorrow
Some
morning
of Rice's
and
chocolate.
get us settled, and then we'll give you a list of
Make it
the
better.
books that we would like.
Very well. Please, go ahead and get yourself situated in the study room marked by the sun over there. And they point, and you can see there
Lovely.
are 4 of these little study rooms off to the side. Then another office that is labeled the Primus Scholar. That is probably the person, actually, Valis, you'd know, the person in charge of this floor. But
Primus Scholar?
The Primus Scholar, yeah.
Okay.
You go off kind of opening this wooden door beneath this kind of mosaic of a sun, and inside there is a 30 by 25 foot room, long wooden conference table, very thick old wood, nice little chairs gathered around it, and not much else. It's just a very very simple room. There are 4 lanterns that cast a almost greenish yellow light that mimics the lower levels of the Emerald Spire. But it's yours.
Cheshire barges in and just like immediately college style grabs a bunch of the chairs and makes herself a bed.
No problem. So just drags them across the ground, and you just kind of set them up. There was 8 chairs to start with. Now there are just enough for everybody to sit.
I'm gonna go ahead and set a watch just in case.
So you start looking around.
Yeah.
Really just eyeing out the
Because
place.
if someone Talon correctly pointed out that if someone barges in, we're gonna lose our long rest again.
That's fair.
So Alina's gonna set up shop just right at the door so that if anyone comes in, she can be like, "Shh, occupied."
Okay.
I'll ask him before he leaves. I'll ask him to come back in a little bit so we can get settled and.
It'll take me about an hour to walk all the way down and then come back, so it'll take a moment. It's a long walk.
It's an hour to walk from where we are to our room, or to get the books?
To go down to the scholars and set this appointment for you.
Okay.
For him to go down. Yeah.
Gotcha. Can you
are
send
you
someone
saying?
else to help us get some of the readings that we would like?
Yeah, no, just ask the other person at the circulation desk. They can tell you where to go. They're not going to fetch it for you.
Okay.
You'll have to get it yourself, but they can tell you where it is. Billy, for you, as Hearson begins to make their way out towards the exit, you catch up. What are you doing?
Sorry, I can sleep when I'm dead. I do want to find the house now. And you brought us here for that.
Yes. Go up to the living map.
Okay.
And uncork this bottle right next to it. And they kind of take a couple steps back, and they pull out their cloak and kind of conspiratorially kind of go away. And you hear them make a perception check. They just kind of whisper a little bit. How far
Billy
away
is not
this?
focused.
A pretty good distance. And this is while you guys are having this conversation.
16.
A 16? Okay. With a 16, you don't really hear what they say. You do hear something. They mention something. You speak Sylvan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you hear them say something about the weave. But they take out a little bottle, and you can see within it there is this glowing pink-green magic that seems to just illuminate out. And he says, just do not open this until you are next to the map. I do not like repeating myself.
Okay.
Very well. Yes, Billy.
I should go alone if I just try to go home, right?
I wouldn't.
But if I go home and I take people with me, then that's me bringing them to my aunties, and that's bad.
Well, find a way to make it not bad. But without your friends, you do not stand a chance when she returns. It isn't just about getting the house back. It's about protecting it once we have it.
Okay. Just uncork it at the map, and then it'll just show me where it is.
It will make the map do something miraculous.
One more thing. Do you know where I could get something to help with scrying? I've been trying to learn it, and I don't think I'm... Something is telling me that mechanically I'm not quite ready for it yet.
My body mechanics are just
We all get those feelings from time to time.
But maybe there's,
called puberty.
I don't know, some sort of spell scroll or potion, or maybe not a reflective surface that can help.
Billy, you stand within the largest magical library, perhaps in the world. You're there. Ask around. I'm sure there is somebody here who can help you.
I've never been to a library before.
That is surprisingly common, I'm finding. And I have not been to this one in particular either. The staircase leaves something to be desired. But if you need anything else, I'll be outside. They turn and they walk out.
This is waiting for us outside.
This is your reminder to support your local libraries. Thank you.
Yeah, then they can get better staircases.
They could be made out of wood.
You never know.
Before the attendants now that have kind of been suggested to help us leave us to our devices, I do want to see. I'm going to ask them. Do you know where the more administrative? Those are on the lower levels, yes.
You only said one word. Administrative what?
The administrative levels. Inner
The ninth floors on down. Yeah, that's really where more of the scholars are going to be. The rest of the floors are all. I mean, I could tell you all about it.
Current research, maybe.
Current research on what?
Local diseases, perhaps.
It depends on what sort. Oh, I mean, that could be up on the very top floor with the arcane. There are many books up there, but if you're talking about private Aussenloch research, that takes place outside of public areas. You'll need accompaniment.
Right, accompaniment. Which we have forthcoming. Yes.
Presumably, you know this Vorn. I haven't talked to him a lot. He's sort of a creepy folk, but if you know him and his work, I'm sure that you'll have no problem getting down there.
I'm trying to think of a way to get... It's fine. Not with this guy. It's fine.
What are you trying to get?
I'm trying to figure out if anyone's memories up here... because anyone in the Aussenloch right now could either have their memories taken or be part of...
That's probably your closest path to that.
Yeah, or be
I'm in
part
the
of...
Aussenloch right now. Maybe I've had my memories taken.
Well, or could be part of...
You don't remember that.
Zoros Eschere's kind of group that has been using the memories. A natural 20.
With a natural 20, this person has had their memories modified. Maybe not their memories. And then you remember... Mass suggestion was just cast on them.
Right.
And that's really what you're seeing. They have not had their memory modified in any meaningful way that you can see. They have none of the marks that you have seen on either your sister, on Valis, or on any of the other individuals that perhaps have had this happen to them. You get the sense that this individual, a little bit newer, here manning the circulation desk, probably not like a senior member. If there is something like what you are describing, they probably have no knowledge of it to begin with.
Okay. Cool.
But they turn and they say, all right, I'll be back in about an hour. And they kind of make their way down, and there is another person. You can see that woman kind of sitting over at the circulation desk. She does, in the time that all this happens, turns this kind of older woman away, makes her leave. But the rest of you have this study space available.
Okay, you could take just like a little short rest while you wait, right?
That's good. You can do that.
No, I mean,
Valis, do you want to actually give me a hand real quick?
I'm going to get some parchment and a quill and ink.
And I'm going to go to the circulation desk and request those items.
I'm going to begin a long rest in which I am taking first watch mechanically.
No problem. You try that. For you, no problem, Inca. You can go up. And as a trusted associate, she'd be happy to give you about 20 pieces of parchment. For ink.
Or something to write with. Charcoal or something like that would work as well.
Oh, yeah, they can give you charcoal. No problem.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Also, this is a library, right?
Yes. How did you reach this place if you didn't know it was a library?
Through the desk. How is it...
Who are you?
Okay, so we would like to find the books. How are they organized?
Well, by subject.
Okay.
What subject are you looking for, dear?
Stars.
Stars.
Yes.
Very well. It kind of goes back and looks through.
If there are any illustrations of known constellations?
I'm sure. You would want to look up on the 16th floor. The stats on physical sciences.
Physical. Wait, there are non-physical. Okay. 16.
There might be metaphysical.
Physical science.
Billy's standing right behind her, and she's like, "What about languages?"
Writing it down.
You're looking for languages.
Sorry.
You. What about them? their effects on people? Are you looking for more of a primer and to learn them? Or...
Yes, that one.
That one. Okay, very well. You could look in the 10th floor, Stacks and Social Sciences. Does have some elements of that. And then, honestly, many people come in here looking to read, and they go to the literature section and just start on one side and work their way up.
I need to know how to say something other than name, who is a friend, and at the dawn of the first age.
Did I understand that in Giant?
You're not there.
Where am I?
You're in the
You're in the
study room.
The sun
yeah.
study room.
And after that, maps, please.
Well, maps and also some elements of the linguistics might be up on the 17th floor with the geography and cartography.
The big one. It's alive.
Yes, the living map is up there as well. A marvel, really. Anything else?
Thank you.
Of course, your trusted associates.
Okay. He's gonna go back to the study room with the stacks of paper
Okay.
and like her scrawled notes and just be like, okay, once we are more less bloody, these are places to start. I know that I would like to check if what we know now about the stars matches what the stars once were, in case anything has changed majorly on that end, which could maybe give us some hints of what's going on, because it's been a long time since we saw them. And then I forgot to ask about sickness. We could ask about sickness as well and try to figure out if there's anything we can do on that front. Maybe we can find some of your old research.
Oh yeah, I have a list of stuff that I wanted to get. I have
I brought charcoal and hair trim.
Thank you. I do have pen and ink, but
Sounds like we.
I plan to get some research on the Pact of Twigs and Thorns, the Glimmering Oasis, the Wake Peter Flu, Aussenloch Banishment Protocol, and the Silent Epoch, since we may be entering a conversation with a man. Do we need anything? Does anybody want me to ask for anything else?
You are good at researching.
Okay.
Alice goes, I'm running to the
cult.
Mick Library. Anybody need anything? Yeah. It's a cult.
So I'm just gonna stay here and rest because she looks down at herself. She maybe has like a gaping wound. She's like, I am going to sleep. I encourage everyone to make sure you get some rest, but we're all adults, so do what you gotta do.
Alina tucks the intestines back in and just kind of rolls back over.
I will also take a nap.
Okay. So Alina and Minka begin to take a nap. Cheshire, what are you doing?
Have been taking a nap.
Oh, already 30 minutes into a nap. What about you, Billy?
Billy, once they had the information about the map and the languages, is going to go in order. Oh, I have to go down and then up.
You don't have to do anything.
Billy's going to go down first to the languages.
So Billy's going down. What about you, Valis?
Can I borrow the bag of holding? Okay, so I'm gonna turn to Ori and say, I'm just gonna go figure out where these are first, and do you want to...
Yeah, I'll come with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll just go look around, take a look around.
Did you just wing?
I could hear the wing from here.
Whoa, I got moved back against the wall by the wind from your eyelashes.
And Alina's just gonna be like, just remember.
Such gains.
Remember, rest is important, even though what we're doing here is also important. Just, you can't help anybody if you keel over from too few hit points.
Billy used all of her remaining bardic spell slots to use Healing Word on herself.
Okay, there you go.
I trust you, Ori. I just don't forget that.
Yeah.
He'll be with me. I'll keep him out of trouble.
Yeah, Valis will keep me out of trouble.
I just, you look really rough.
Okay, wait, before you go then. If you're not going to rest immediately, and I am,
Mika's gonna cast Regenerate on Ori. So, what
is that?
Is my
Sounds
level.
good.
It's, for the next... so you immediately regain 4d8 plus 15 hit points. And then you gain 1 hit point at the start of each turn for the next 10 minutes. So you get 10 hit points a minute for the next hour. So you will be healed. And if you had been missing any limbs, congratulations. They return now.
You are now uncircumcised.
You're
A tail comes out.
You were a team
They cut that off when I was
All of a
little.
sudden, the pacemaker just rips through your skin.
She explains a few things.
Do you want Rose to go with you, or
Not as a babysitter.
No,
No,
probably
okay.
not.
Okay.
No.
that's
No offense, Rez. Just the things. Yeah.
it was more just
No,
you could send him back if
no,
you
no.
needed us.
Rest. It'll be fine. We'll be fine.
So,
Okay.
34 hit points,
Yes.
and then plus another 10 hit points per minute for the next hour.
Okay.
And now
so-
Alina's like, actually, I do think you will be fine. All right then, Rez, nap time.
And then
Immediately asleep.
super
So,
nap
wait.
time. Like, I don't usually
How
sleep.
much
This is pretty
for the
great.
next minute?
So you get
You're
10
getting
hit-
600 hit points over the next hour.
Yeah, you will be healed. You have no
You are
choice.
aggressively healed.
Like that would bring the
Okay, I'm gonna
Demigorgon
put
back.
myself. I'm gonna put myself up to where I would
Levistus
be for
feels
the
great.
34 HP, and then after like a couple minutes, assume that I'm back at full. Like,
You
or
can
like
probably put yourself at
once-
full right now
once we
on
have-
the
It
walk.
really
What's
depends on what
gonna
you guys
happen?
do.
He
Once
might
we've
die.
progressed,
He
once
could
we've
fall down
progressed
all
a safe
that.
amount
For
of
Matt in
Push him down
particular,
the spiral.
once we've progressed a safe amount
Or
of
it could just be
time.
Zoros by another name.
for any of the rest of you, I would say, yeah, mark those off. But for
But
you,
once we've progressed a safe amount of
No,
time,
no,
I
not
will
for Ori,
add
for
Billy,
more.
you make your way down before the rest of this group does. And so down the stairs from this entry, you get to a level of the library that is broken into quadrants. Each of them has a central sort of reading space with dozens of these sort of overstuffed chairs and couches. You can see they're designed to be comfortable with these throw pillows of various colors. There are magical lamps on these end tables by each one, and you can see they have adjustable apertures to change both the color and intensity of the light to breathe by. This has a huge sign as you kind of come down the stairs into the central space that reads literature. And all across this space, you actually see the scholar that you had dispatched like 10 minutes ago, still down here, currently arguing with a woman who seems to also be wearing kind of scholarly robes. And at this moment, he's saying, no, the thing about Lady Stonemark is her descriptions drag on for pages, and they really don't need to. Romance as a genre is about action. And like he's now caught up in a discussion about literature. You can see there is just dozens and dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of storybooks here.
Language floor.
You go down, continue walking to the stacks of philosophy on the 10th or the 11th floor. This is the room here is much more open. There are fewer sort of quadrants connecting off, and the walls are ringed with many tomes of philosophy. There is nowhere to sit here. Just empty floors across hundreds of feet, broken up by an occasional table. You can see there is a dragonborn who is sitting at the nearest table or standing at the nearest table. They're tall. You can see deep bronze scales, silver undertones that kind of gleam in this light. They are currently reading a book that says Dust to Thoughts, Musings on Mortality and Memory. They look up at you, just kind of, and then look back down at their book. You just continue walking.
Language.
And make your way to the 10th floor. This is the place that you had been indicated to potentially go and see, and you can see this is the first floor where the exterior here is no longer entirely translucent, this sort of emerald material. It's getting darker as you go. Passing, you can see like there are still shapes visible outside. As somebody walks by on a bridge, you can see like a vague sort of shape, but it's much harder to see details you can't really make out. And here and there in the space, there are long rows that intersect with columns that break up into anthropology, economics, politics, psychology, sociology, and then at the very, very end, almost an afterthought, just a single aisle, you see language.
Giant.
Makes
You
sense in a
walk
world
over.
where you can just use magic to do language.
Yeah, it's like not something that you need a ton of. But as you walk over, you round the corner and you bump into an individual, this halfling, chestnut hair, warm face, bright, twinkling hazel eyes, and as he bumps into you, he kind of rebounds, almost like falling backwards, and he goes, "Whoa, whoa! So sorry about that. I didn't see where I was going. I've just been reading for hours, you know. My name's Lorebinder Bramblefoot. What's your name?" And they stick out a little hand. Billy, a professor, or they shake your hand very vigorously. Just like a couple seconds too long.
Billy.
Billy, I've never heard that as a title before. Very nice to meet you, Billy. I was just moving along. Are you studying languages as well?
I only know a couple of phrases in Giant, but I was hoping, since this is the premiere...
You're interested in Giant. This is fortuitous. This is very fortuitous. I'm something of an expert on Giant myself.
Okay.
I'm of the Lorebinders. I don't know if you know about this, but we are in a floating giant city, a place called Yorn. Have you heard of it? Do you know what Yorn means?
No.
It means city. But that's not the exciting part. There are ancient texts in Yorn that we have begun to uncover. We found primers on the giant language. All kinds of things that will be fascinating to you. We have lots to talk about. You didn't ask, but I'm studying how society shaped themselves around language and the various elements that language have to do with things like politics and family structures. Did you know that based on how you name I'm terribly sorry. I have a tendency to do that. Did you want to sit?
I was hoping to learn Giant in like 30 minutes.
That's funny. Does it take you a long time to cast ritual magic or something?
You can make it quicker.
Who are you?
If you can make it quicker, that would be most appreciated.
They look at you and say, I can't make it quicker. I can't make learning quicker. And why would you want to? The important part is the journey.
I'm on a time crunch. My journey is short.
I could make you ever so slightly faster, but you'll be very tired at the end.
No, I need to learn Giant faster.
Well, I can show you some books, but it will take you several months.
I have 30 minutes.
Well, let's see what we can do then, shall we? And he kind of grabs you by the wrist and just kind of leads you over and going through says, okay, so the tongues and tribes, that's really more for orc. There is some giant in there, though. They pull it off the shelf. They kind of go over and say, masks and meanings. Symbolism behind Mythostrian's temples are quite fascinating, you know.
Just the giant.
Yes, the giant. The Ordning's voice. They pull this book out and they say, this will give you the basics on Giant. Not in 30 minutes, though.
How thick is this book, Joe?
This book, so they're holding it in like both their hands. It's like probably about that big. It's not gigantic. And as you look at it, you do see volume 4. There are multiple volumes to this. Are you... I don't understand.
I've heard if you just sleep with books or cuddle with them, you gain their knowledge.
Oh, are you lost? Come,
Where is your guardian?
Actually here with a group of my friends as well. Let's find your friends as well. Come on. And they take you by the wrist and they begin to bring you back to
Billy does not move. Billy has found the language
their feet
section.
just go... they're a halfling. They're not moving you if you don't want to go. Nope. They kind of stop and go, I don't know that we have a lot to talk about. I think I'm going to go.
I was just looking for the Giant section. To learn Giant in 30 minutes, and you're telling me I need to read 7 books in 7 hours.
Oh, it's actually 8 books, and it will take a lot longer than that. I could help you if you want.
Can you magically make it faster?
No.
Then you can't help me, can you?
That's very rude. I'm going to go back to my research. Good luck on your impossible task. They turn and move away. You see just the flutter of blue robes.
You made a new friend.
Weird.
Ori and Valis, what are the two of you doing?
Ori's gonna leave the sunroom with Valis and making sure that no one's around as we're walking to wherever Valis is walking.
Yeah.
Where are you heading?
Well, as I said, I'm gonna go to the circulation desk and just figure out. So Ori, I'm gonna just ask where to find these tomes, but after that, we can on our own go as far low as the 6th floor.
Perfect. Okay, because see, this is the thing. I don't think we should trust anyone up here. Anyone up here they're not going to be involved. Everything that we need to know is going to be down below. So, once we get down there, whoever is going to be down there is either going to be bereft of memories or involved more intimately. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
But there could be stuff on the 6th to 9th floor that could be useful to us, because those are off limits to the public.
Yes. So we should head there now to legally within the rules of the library, and
it's fine. I don't remember the rules, so I'm
not
breaking any rules.
But you have the thing that will get us down there within the private areas. Yeah. So we do that.
That's what I meant earlier when I said
with our permission.
Wander.
I don't care who Vaughn is. That's what I'm saying. I don't care who this Vaughn is.
Yeah, but
we can't trust them.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't want to meet him right away.
Yes. But I need to go, and I need your help, because I think that your memories will lead us to a solution for a lot of things. And I think wherever your memories are will also be where lots of vital information that we need right now will be. So at least check the 6th through 9th floor now, while we have access, and maybe scope out how we may get further once the rest of our party has rested. Yes?
Yeah, they were looking pretty rough.
Yes.
Also,
I'm doing much better.
Okay. Weren't you bleeding from everywhere?
Suddenly.
So, down?
No. To circulation, figure out where these books are first. And then we'll go down.
Right. Put the other people on finding the stuff that doesn't... Yes.
So
also,
like, the only place that you could be having this conversation, not in the room with everybody else, would be right on the other side of the door, because that is 30 feet away from the circulation.
Oh, really?
So
right.
So they're whispering, and they're kind of like looking over at you, smiling, like, because they regard you as a friend, and so they're just like waiting to help you.
This is actually like giving me flashbacks to my day
whispering,
job.
man.
Oh,
just sitting at the desk, watching people be weird in the corner, and being like, "Can I help?"
No one can help me.
At the end of that, or just be like,
people sleeping in the study
you
rooms.
give them the list, get them to go do that,
So
and
they
then
come
while
up
they're
to the
there,
circulation desk.
we'll go downstairs.
For 4 hours.
I walk to the circulation desk.
Okay. You
So
walk up to the
hello.
circulation desk.
This poor guy's like this.
Looks over at you and says, "Yes.
Just standing
How can I
there
help
still
you?"
looking over.
Can you please tell me where I could find readings and research on... I have a list of things. The Pact of Twigs and Thorns?
That sounds very political. So I would imagine in the political section over on the. Give me 1 second.
Please say good things.
You could begin on the 10th floor and then perhaps also find some more information up on the 14th floor, where politics and local history is kept.
What's on the 10th floor, if not politics?
The 10th floor is more social sciences. There's politics, there's language, there's anthropology, there's psychology, if you believe in that.
Anything...
Whoa! Sorry. Now we're at my job.
Glimmering Oasis?
God damn it.
What?
We'll go find the
Glimmering
cafe.
Oasis.
The Glimmering Oasis, where there's a large map up on the 14th floor. If you're looking for something relating to geography, or sorry, the
It might be like
The glimmering of
an afterlife type of thing.
17th floor. Afterlife. You're looking for more spirituality. That would be located on... Second here. I gotta do a better job. This is such a huge document.
Obsidian.
40.
The 11th floor within philosophy, or depending on your viewpoint of the afterlife, up on the 18th floor in the arcane texts.
Valis, come back.
Oh,
Your friend
I hear
wants
what's.
something.
Oh yeah, I turn to Ori and I give him a thumbs up, and I say, "Wake Peter flu."
You're looking for what?
Research on the Wake Peter flu.
Well, research we may not necessarily have, but if you're looking for medical texts, that would be on the 15th floor.
Okay. There are scholars in the Aussenloch doing research on the Wake Peter flu, right?
I'm sure.
Who are some of the foremost researchers in the Aussenloch studying it?
You understand there's near 400 of us, so I don't know what everybody's working on. I can barely even keep track of what the folks who are in residence are working on. Off the top of my head, I could try to remember. I know that Verlma is working on this idea behind a temporal shadow. Pyrelix has been working on some kind of a wand that channels catharsis. I'm not exactly sure how it's panning out. He seemed pretty depressed. And then I know Inwin seems to be doing vaguely unethical research about donating pieces of your soul to casting spells. I'm not sure on... Who? This is Inwin.
He said Inwin! Valis, come here!
Yeah. He raises a hand for like 1 second.
Oh my god.
And that's
Ori
just
might as well
the
just take
people
that
who are
short rest
currently
now.
staying here.
Okay.
There are many scholars studying many things. You could speak to some of those in residence and ask them.
Okay. And that would mean booking an appointment with them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You could also just go down to the 9th floor and attempt to demand an audience. It usually does not work out if you don't have an appointment ahead of time.
Is the 9th floor where all the scholars are housed? Is that why?
The 9th floor is the primary office of the scholars, yes. That is where you will find the main scholar chamber, the archive annex, the scriptoriums, the symposium rooms. Oh, there is quite a symposium happening today.
Which way is that?
Let me tell you, they look over at you and say, the symposium is on the 9th floor.
Right, how to get to the 9th floor?
Well, you take the staircase down. Yes.
Is there an elevator?
Run down. This is not a very accessible place. No, it's just a single staircase, a huge, gigantic, peculiar iron staircase that makes its way down.
You know, I'm good. This is not ADA compliant.
It's certainly not.
No.
But they kind of watch after him and goes, I really don't think he's going to find much there. The symposium is led by Quindlehop Fizzlenoodle, and
I'm sorry, what?
they are the only scholar I've ever heard of squirrely mycology and cosmic fungi. It is going
Squirrely?
to be, they have a theory, you see. I don't know much of it myself, but it has to do with the squirrel population of the world secretly being a cabal of extra-dimensional beings. I didn't pay a lot of attention as he came in.
Cheshire would love that.
Can we attend this symposium?
It's on the 9th floor.
I want to know this.
What was his name again? Quism.
Quindlewop Fizzlenoodle. Professor Fizzlenoodle, really.
Professor Quindo.
Quindlewop.
Quindlehop.
Quindlehop.
Fizzlenoodle.
Fizzle. Noodle. Alright, thank you. Where could I go if I want to find out more about the Aussenloch banishment protocol?
Well, you could speak. What about it?
Like, I'm sure there's a protocol and policy around, when plagiarism happens. And
Yes, the
memories are
Iconoclast
taken.
makes a ruling on it.
Okay. Is there any text or kind of like that outlays the policy that the Iconoclast follows? for
Within
these
their
types of
chambers,
things?
of course, yes, within the 2nd floor.
Valis.
Okay. And where can I find stuff on the Silent Epoch?
The Silent Epoch. I'm not familiar.
Okay. Oh, and I've heard that y'all have arc lights here, and I've always wanted to see one. I just want to see where are those located?
Normally I wouldn't even say this, but I feel as if I've known you for a while. Up on the 18th floor, there is a glimmering pink gem that's set into the ceiling. It's meant to look almost as if a decoration, but that is an arc light. It connects to another one elsewhere in the Aussenloch. I'm not sure where.
Arc light, 18th floor, glimmering pink gem in the ceiling?
Yes.
Which room?
On the top floor, on the 18th. It's,
Is it just one big room up there?
Yes. It's a beautiful room.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Of course. Happy to help you.
And I go back to look for Ori, and Ori is gone.
Standing,
I'm like,
no.
You went down to the 9th floor, right?
I'm at the door to get into the stairwell to go down, but I can't do shit without you because you have access down there.
No,
You
hasn't come back
you
yet.
have to what Ori believes is access because we the fucking beads.
So, are you making your way down there?
So I kind of do want to check the symposium, but I guess now's not the time.
How many? I thought you were a high charisma character. Where are your social skills?
Right?
So what are you all doing?
I'm going down once Valis is over here. I'm gonna be like, come on, let's go.
Where are we going?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you're kind of all over the place right now.
We're going down to the lower levels. This moment.
All right, then follow me. I go upstairs.
No.
Valis, you
God.
move up the stairs
Where
away
are
from
you
the squealing,
going?
Ori.
Actually,
and you
we're on the
pass.
10th floor, right?
You're on the 13th floor.
13th floor.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think this stairway is gonna go beyond the 9th floor.
I know. The arc light is probably where something secret is. But if we're going to go there right now, we're probably going to face opposition. I do not want to face opposition knowing that it's just me and, no offense, but you who already lost his memories in here.
I did? I'm kidding. Lead the way.
Pixar didn't happen.
So, Ori, you make your way downstairs?
Yes.
Okay. You reverse, corkscrewing down the stairway.
You
make your way first into the literature section, and you can hear this dwarf that you sent down. It's been like probably a solid 20 minutes, still there.
Oh, I'm
And
healed
you
up.
can see this, like, you go straight past them. You can see this woman is speaking to him and just going, but The Paladin's Heart is my favorite novel by far because it really is right at home.
As
And,
we're
like-
walking past, I say,
Val slows down.
derivative.
Add that to my reading list.
I have an invasive thought question.
Okay.
Is there one really long banister rail?
There is. It's actually broken up by a number of these little things specifically for the reason that you're because
like in Porter Square with the.
oh no,
Oh.
people have tried. People have tried to make that run, and it
Yeah.
did not go well. So you make your way down and just continue going straight past this floor. You make your way down to the 11th floor, to the stacks of philosophy. This Dragonborn looks up, and they regard you. What are you? Is your staff still bundled? Do you have it?
Yes, it is bundled. Well,
Would you have bundled
Would
it?
you have rebundled it? Because
yeah, I would have rebundled it.
They look up at you as
'Cause
you
I
pass
only-
this Dragonborn, and they just kind of grunt and then look back down, and you make your way past to the 10th floor, the stacks on social sciences. There you can see just very cheery, still unflappable in the face of Billy, who is currently sitting at a table just looking at this book. They're like 3 tables away from Billy. Every now and then they look up and they go, they just look back down at their research. Are you saying anything to Billy or just continuing on?
As we walk by Billy, she's like pressing phrases, and Valis corrects one of them and then continues walking.
Amazing.
Giving up a long rest to not load Josh.
sounds like it.
You make your way down to the bottom of that staircase. And here there is a small 20 by 20 room. It is brightly lit with a beautiful rendering of the Aussenloch structure itself, like a map that details the floors 18 through 10, and the little star right beneath the map that reads, "You are here."
What floor are we on again?
The 9th floor. You are right on the edge between the 10th and 9th floors. And there is a sort of aperture at the bottom where the staircase should continue, but currently closed, made out of steel. And as you look at this, a voice just booms all around you, kind of squawking at first, and then coming into focus, you hear, "Welcome to the primary office of the Scholars of the Aussenloch. With whom and what time is your appointment, please?" Hello. If you don't have an appointment, this is a high-traffic area. I advise you clear out immediately. Thank you very much.
We have emergency business.
Persuasion.
Does Billy hear the booming voice coming from the 9th floor, or is that like is the Aussenloch design?
You hear nothing.
Okay.
Aw, dang.
Do I get a thing
Aussenloch
from
is
you
better
being
acoustics than
next to
you
me?
are.
No, unfortunately, it's only for
They have
saving
magical.
throws.
Damn, I wish this was
Is this a
saving
social
throw.
saving throw by any chance?
I wish, 'cause it's
just a
a 10.
persuasion check at 10.
What are you trying to do?
You say, "Emergency business!"
I thought we had
And the
access
voice
from 9 to
booms
6.
back to you and says, "All business is emergency business in the Aussenloch. Knowledge is important, but if you do not have an appointment, you do not have space here. Please move along.
Vaughn!
Move along,
Vaughn!
please."
I thought you said we had access down here.
So,
The lights go off.
okay,
And you are
as
left
we
in
walk,
the dark.
So I was trying to tell you earlier. We gotta go upstairs.
Why did you...
You look like you knew where you were going.
I told you why I thought
You
we
hear
should go down
footsteps
here.
on the staircase, and then kind of huffing and puffing, and holding a bunch of different new romance books. You see the dwarf who you had said buddy in the first place. And he gets down and he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't quite get here yet. I'm about to go and make this appointment for you, so you might want to wait a bit. This is going to take some time. There's negotiations and things. I've also got some reading to do. Can you come back later?
Body
Yes.
strippers or more like Jane Austen?
Like, what are the covers like the tasteful covers, or are they like the ooh?
The only one
he's
that
got
you
Is
can
Fabio
see,
on any of
the
them?
only one that you can see says "Chains Beneath the Rose Garden" by Lindsay Rose, and this is a book that you can see no pictures. It is red. There's no illustration.
How loopy is the script?
Not very.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Could be quick publish.
I asked the person at the circulation desk. They didn't know, but
Or he hates learning.
do
This is why we're
you know who are the formal scholars on the Wake Pewter flu right now in terms of researching its cause and possible cures?
Not specifically, no.
Who would know that?
Probably one of the scholars beyond.
Okay.
Probably Vaughn. Maybe. Let me go make that appointment for you. Okay.
Where do we go tomorrow morning to? Do we just come here tomorrow morning for the appointment?
Well, I'll come get you. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
And what was your name?
Real quick.
My name is Tronrod Lodestar.
Good lord.
Thank you, Tronrod Lodestar.
Lodestar, yes.
John.
Okay. All right, and we'll start walking up the stairs. And Ori, I don't remember, and that's a very poignant fact, how stuff works here in this library. But these beads will let me travel via the arc light as far down as the 6th floor. Is that right, Javaris?
Javaris from the beads goes, "Ah, Valis, who is a friend?
I wasn't listening.
Good to hear you.
Hey, we're back in
These-
Aussenloch.
Wonderful. It has been a long time since I have graced these halls, and there are many books that I would like to read, but the Aussenloch Arclight should be on the 6th floor. What questions do you have about it?"
do I get to it via the arc light on the 18th floor?
Valis, it has been hundreds of years. I do not know where they have moved the arc light. There was not an 18th floor when I was last there.
Are the arc lights like 1-to-1? Like if there's an arc light and I use these beads, will it take me to only one place because it's like a 1-to-1 attunement? Okay.
Specifically, there is no outside way of accessing an arc light save the reagent.
Okay.
You make your way up.
All right. So
yes.
Thank you.
Really.
So I will just tell Ori on the way up.
We're probably
all I
on,
know.
Like, the fucking...
Do you recall the arc light within the prison in the Underdark?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a key to arc lights here, and all I know.
He said that was the one up there. Yes.
Javaris says there's one on the 6th floor. There was no 18th floor when Javaris was here.
Maybe that one up there takes us down to the other one on the 6th floor.
You hear from the beads, that would make lots of sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Javaris agrees with you.
Okay.
So if we go up to 18th floor and use the arc light, it will take us there. Are you sure you want to go with just you and I? Because as you mentioned, we don't know what to expect down there. Actually, Javaris, do you remember what's on the 6th floor?
On the 6th floor is the vault of dangerous arcane texts. It is a place of much mystery, even to me. I would not look upon the books there without great consideration first. Valis, who is a friend and still has much of his mind.
Okay. Do you remember what was on the 7th and 8th floors?
The 7th floor contains a special collection of rare books, not magical in their own right, but treatises such as A Jagged Truth, things that are dangerous in the wrong hands, though they not be magical. And then the 8th floor is, in my time it was sort of a punishment, really, but it is the unsorted books in storage.
Oh, no.
Typically, when things are donated to the Aussenloch that are damaged or otherwise not ready to be on the shelves yet, they are brought here. And over hundreds of years of operation, things have gotten out of hand.
Okay. All right.
That's crazy.
Thank you, Javaris. Keep perceiving and let me know if you see anything off.
No problem. So you make your way back up. Yes, Billy.
Once 30 minutes has passed, then Billy has not moved beyond page 1.
Yeah, okay.
Billy's got to read Giant to understand Giant.
Yeah.
Billy kind of looks over, and the lore binder's still on this floor?
Yeah. Okay.
Look. This is my first time in a library.
This is your first time in the library?
And one of my friends has been here and read his brains out.
Do you mean literally or figuratively? I can't really tell.
He can't really remember much.
Oh. That sounds like a curse. Have you ever had a curse before?
Many. But we should...
We're just going to go right past that.
Yes, right past that. Again, short journey. You mentioned something that I kind of didn't catch quite before. You mentioned about ritual magic.
What about it?
You asked me if I could cast it.
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
What would that have to do with learning a language?
I just mean 30 minutes is longer than it takes to cast a ritual.
Yes.
That's all. You were being kind of rude to me, I'm sorry. I could help you learn it. I almost guarantee I could find the other remaining tomes of this series. At the Lorebinders Academy, we have all sorts of things, and as we've moved it up to Yorn, they're relatively easy to access from here.
So I have these family members who speak giant. And they talk about a lot of stuff around me in giant, and I can't understand what they're saying because they haven't taught any to me.
That's so rude.
Right? Intentionally.
They put their hand on your shoulder and they go, "I'm so sorry. Nobody should have to deal with that. I'm really sorry."
Toxic family.
It was a rough childhood.
Do you want to talk about it?
I have a feeling I'll be talking about it a lot. So
well,
maybe
I've been here for 2 days already. I'm sleeping in the corner over there. Kind of leaning. You can see like under one of the tables there's like a whole sleeping bag, and really like this is a place where people travel from across the world to get to, and if they don't have an inn or something lined up, there's no Airbnb. A lot of people just sleep under desks, but they just kind of lean over and they say, "I have plenty of time if you want to talk about your childhood."
Well, I need to learn giant in 30 minutes because I will have to go back home in an hour, and then I will have to talk
I'm not
to
sure
my
if you know about time, but it's been 30 minutes.
Fuck. Now I have 5 minutes in which to learn giant, and then I have to go home and talk to my aunties and surprise them in giant, because if I don't, the world ends.
First of all, that sounds really hard.
Yes.
But I think even though it feels like the world is ending sometimes, there's still usually a tomorrow.
No, the world will literally end. There's a great evil hag that will come down and descend from the moon, and I sound crazy.
That's a very strong word. It's not the word that I would use. I would say that you sound adventurous in thought. How about this? How about we take it just one step at a time, and we'll teach you giant as fast as we can.
Could you teach me a phrase, maybe?
Maybe.
I will need to... There's someone on the 13th floor that I will need to ask about the phrase. And then could I come back here, since you live here?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
And this is coming from a place where, again, I've been here for 2 days now. Go sleep. And then maybe after, this will be a bit easier.
I'll think about it. Mm-hmm.
Very well. You know where to find me. And they kind of straighten out the
sorry,
books.
your name once more.
Give me 1 second here. We're jumping around the floors. You're on floor 12.
Floor binder. I'm on floor 10.
10.
Floor binder.
Yeah, the floor binder.
My name is Finnegan Bramblefoot.
Floor binder Bramblefoot.
Thank you. Nobody really uses the title anymore. We've become very lax as we've sort of begun to mix company.
What you choose to call yourself is important.
I agree. Thank you very much. I'll be here.
Thank you, Lord Binder Bramblefoot.
Thank you. Billy?
Just the one.
Just the one. Very well.
It's strange. Maybe.
Billy begins to run upstairs.
You run upstairs. For the two of you, are you making your way upstairs as well?
I would be like...
So, I mean, we are walking up the stairs.
Still walking up.
And still, so... I tell you what Varus just told me about the A7 and 6th floor, and I also add, it sounds like that vault with the arcane text might be where they make people read to lose memories.
Okay.
Since I remember from one of the memory
Right.
threads.
So, it seems like the more we're discovering, the more it seems as if past the 9th floor is going to be more heavily guarded. And more likely that everyone beneath the 9th floor is at least somehow involved in what's going on here.
And as Laurie says this too, you guys have now reached the 13th floor again. You see the circulation desk. You see this woman who kind of like waves to you. The staircase is beyond, but whether you go downstairs, whether you go upstairs, it will likely be very dangerous. And with just you and Ori, that is something to consider. The rest of your party has now been resting for approximately an hour. They have some more time to go, and so a thing to consider would be potentially waiting for them. but entirely up to you.
I will kill you. We don't know what's on the 6th floor. We should wait.
No.
I know.
Tina will come back.
This is the dream of Cheshire come to haunt you.
That's just how she talks in her sleep.
Yeah.
Does Billy run past them at any point? Because Billy's going to the 17th floor with a map.
No, I think you're probably going before they go, so
Okay.
you're missing them.
I don't want to be around Billy right now.
I understand.
I'm going to go... I won't go beyond the public areas, but I'm going to go see if I can find anything right now. Within probably the 15th floor. Maybe look at the 14th. Just to see, because likely we'll end up having to go there. To get to the house. So I'm just going to walk around for a bit.
I know a lot's happened, but try to take some time and
I will
get some rest.
Yeah.
People keep trying to bully Ori in the sleep.
So
I'll rest
Billy,
probably in about 3 hours.
so
I'll be in
Val's gonna make
the.
your way over to the study room, or he makes his way upstairs.
I'm not. I'm going to just collect tomes on these.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You kind of wander around gathering these tomes. For you, Billy, you make your way up to the 14th floor.
That's 17th floor? Maps?
So, but
I
give them
have
an
to
order,
go to the...
typically.
Yes,
So
sir.
you go up to the 14th floor. There are small little reading nooks that are surrounded by tomes on politics and history, each protected by a curtain of silence that has been cast as a line of runes along the edge of each space. You can see there are a number of people here, one of whom looks over at you, this very ancient elderly man, also wearing Lorebinder uniforms. They look much meaner. They look at you, they sneer, and then they just look back at their book. But you continue on, you go upstairs, you see on the 15th floor, it is brighter than the other floors, and you realize they've been progressively getting brighter as you go up. The emerald structure gets thinner and a little bit more translucent, and it becomes a little bit more naturally lit, though it is getting darker outside. Billy, it's not as dark as it should be. And looking up, make a perception check. You kind of look and you can see through the walls here clear enough so that you can make out like structures and people beyond.
28.
And beyond that, you see on one side of the sky, as the sun sets, rising for the first time in years, the outline of a moon.
Oh boy.
But here, brighter than other places, is the floor for natural sciences and the stacks on medical herbs. You can see there is tons of light spilling in from the floor above. All around you, there are different books on things. You can see this gnome with a mane of fiery red hair is currently pulling books down and kind of holding a like potion making set in one arm and a number of books in the other. But you make your way up and into the even brighter 16th floor.
Those aren't giant.
You see the stacks of physical sciences, quadrants dedicated to water, air, earth, and fire, with subsections of row upon row of different books. You make your way up past that. You see in this floor a very stressed-looking woman. And actually, I would say you would kind of clock them because all across their body, there are dozens of tattoos of different constellations. And so having seen stars so often at this point, that does catch your sort of eye. It's a tiefling, and they seem pretty high-strung. They're like just turning pages very quick. But you make your way up to the 16th floor, or past the 16th floor, and to the 17th. And here, as you rise, you see there are books and scrolls and almanacs, but really dominating the space in the northeastern corner, there is a 10-foot tall globe of Alberon. And it features each continent leafed in a different metal. You see directly in front of you as it slowly rotates Ganon, the continent of dragons leafed in gold, featuring several beautiful depictions of dragons in leafwork so intricate it must be magic. And in fact, you see they move across this map. You see a red and a black dragon swirling overhead, much fiercer and larger than the others. You see the red one, fearsome frills, menacing eyes, the black ones with a bloody grin as it looks at its rival. You see the Ald, And the Ald on this map, as it kind of spins down, mostly sunken beneath the waves here, is cast in silver. You see dotted islands and archipelagos that have not quite sunk, depicted in loving detail. You can see like little mountains and tiny hints at what might be forests. You do see the subcontinent of Tanakh, polished to a mirror finish, with the massive city of Patzalco Teisho rising high on the north, and the peaks of each of the sapphire peaks represented with a specially cut sapphire at the tip of each of the mountains. You see, as that spins by on the kind of western side, the Isle of Darby. This continent is detailed in brass, the territory of each of the many city-states textured slightly different. You see wave patterns for the Kingdom of Lachey, you see zigzag lines for Pine Castle, stars for Starfall, etc. You see the Sunrest Islands featured in copper, Dominion in rose gold, Everest, this home continent in a very peculiar metal, actually made out of something that I would say, Billy, you've heard of, called evergreen electrum, found only in the evergreen mountains in the winterlands of the Feywild. And this glows, and you can actually see the emerald spire standing proud. It glows and emanates a bit of magical energy. There is little emerald nubs in Darkbriar as well, and you would imagine those probably are the Aussenloch locations on this continent. And then you see Mithelstreen in dark infernal iron, this massive continent of mountains and misty jungles. And that is the map. You can see also within this space there are other people. There's atlases and maps, but then there is a individual with long brown hair tied back in a practical bun. You see robes with little hand-drawn maps kind of patched onto them. They look up at you for just a moment and then look back at their work. And other than that, you are alone in the space. The staircase does go up to another room and another room beyond. But this is the map that you seek.
And no hearts.
None that you can see.
For now. Billy just kind of like pulls the bottle out. Where is everyone? And just sits down.
Okay, you sit down. You're just going to hold the bottle?
We were supposed to go to the living map.
Okay. Begin to wait. Your eyes get a little heavy. You start kind of like dozing, holding the bottle, but no problem.
Billy,
and if you want...
If Billy starts dozing, Billy's going to like...
Yeah, no problem.
Protect bottle.
You can protect bottle, but I will say you can mechanically start the process of a long rest if you want. Or you make your way up. You see all these things, but what I will say is, Aura, you have a different experience.
Okay.
Because as you walk to the 14th floor, you see this ancient, wizened lorebinder. And as they see you, the eyes go up and down, settle across your kind of clothing. They seem to kind of read details within your face, and they cross the boundaries of silence, standing up in a heartbeat. They point their finger at you. You can see like the veins standing out across his old skin. And they say, "You there, boy! You bear the air of a seeker of knowledge, so answer me this, scholar supposed." And because it is 8:30 and a good place to take a break, this is where we're going to step away for the moment. So there will be a countdown on your screen, just somewhere off in the region.
Oh my god.
Right over there. We'll be back at the end.
I have no gains to flex.
And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. If you did, if not, welcome to D&D. You are a part of this now. Our party is delving, well, half of our party sleeping, half of our party delving a chaotic nature across this library. Ori, you had made your way up to the 14th floor. Stacks on politics, stacks on local history. You saw an older man wearing lorebinder uniforms. Billy had passed by them without issue, but when he locked eyes with you, that changed. He broke this curtain of silence, stepped across, and shouted at you. "You there, boy! You bear the air of a seeker of knowledge, so answer me this, scholar supposed. If a kingdom's stability relies on a secret pact with a demon, one that subtly influences the weak minds of a populace to crave order above freedom, and the people democratically vote to renew the pact every generation, without ever remembering why, is the kingdom still a democracy? Or is it tyranny by supernal consent? Answer, boy!"
Well, that would be tyranny, because if they've lost the memory of why the pact was made in the first place, then they are no longer beholden to the contracts therein writ. It would make no sense for them to then be burdened with the choices of their ancestors due to their own ignorance, which itself is part of this pact. That's why it's infernal.
I present you with a challenging and nuanced question, and you present me with Copernicus' gambit. Make a persuasion check.
I like that. As soon as an old man yells at him, he's not so much locked in
For
anymore.
persuasion?
Yeah.
No, he's
18?
locked into this conversation.
Just the one place where it's helpful.
Perhaps I was wrong about you, boy. Perhaps you are not a seeker of knowledge. Damn. Perhaps you have found some already. And he reaches into his robes and pulls out this small talisman carved with a strange light gray stone. You can see there are runes that glow, a slight amount of silvery metal laid within, unlike anything that you've seen before. And they hold out your hand, boy. Hold it out! And he walks back to his research. This is Lorebinder Tharm's Reluctant Reward. It is a wondrous item. It is uncommon. In once per long rest, the bearer may activate the charm as a bonus action to add your intelligence modifier, minimum +1, to any history, arcana, or investigation check.
Hey!
Oh, pretty good.
Once per long rest. It's a
double thing!
They turn and, or if you wish, the staircase open in front of you.
Do I see Billy sitting around here before I continue?
No,
on?
Billy's further past.
Okay, I'm going to go. So, 15th floor was where medical was, and then 18th is spirituality, right?
15th, natural sciences, stacks of medical herbs, yep.
Okay, so basically, where would medical history be? I would, excuse me, where would medical history be?
They turn, they look, and they step through the curtain of silence and say, "I can't hear you through the curtain, boy! That's the whole point!"
I apologize. Medical history. Which floor?
Just upstairs.
Thank you. I would head upstairs. So I want to basically, Ori is going to occupy his time in the public areas looking for medical history of Wake Peter Flu, the botanical levels of the Crimson Chrysanthemum.
Make a medicine check.
And infernal contracts.
Sure. You make your way up. There's this gnome who's occupying the space as well. But you look around through the space for that knowledge.
Medicine?
Yeah.
14?
There are many books here.
There's a lot of books.
The Green Tongue, Communications in Response to Flora. You see a book that says Herbs and Fields and Forest, a compendium of useful plants. You see Whispers in the Vines, Herbal Lore of the Smaller Folk. Where to start? There are thousands of books. And so you take some time, we'll see what that yields, but you suspect Without a little bit more assistance, probably not a lot. But that time ticks down. For you, Valis, are you returning to your study hall?
Me? No, I'm gonna go get some books.
Okay.
Some
So you go to look around for these books. Make an investigation check as you search the available stacks for these.
So, after I've found, like... And this is within, like, the 4 hours.
Yeah.
After I've found, like, a stack of books that are, like, Infernal Contracts, the Crimson Chrysanthemum, and Wake Peter Flu history stuff. Like, a little bit of all of them just to kind of keep me occupied.
Sure.
I'm going to go to the living map floor and just kind of, like, find a spot on that floor to read these.
Okay. So you
until
go...
I, like, fall asleep or fall a trance.
No problem.
A trance.
Fall a trance. You go, you grab a stack of books, kind of grabbing a few here and a few there, based on the things that you are looking for. There's not a tremendous amount of writing on Infernal. Make an insight check.
Mm, 21.
Okay. As you climb these stairs on your way up to the floor that has this living map, and as you make your way up to that floor, you do see Billy is kind of sitting right in front of the map, sort of asleep, but you don't find anything really about Infernal. And that's weird to you. There is a remarkable lack of Infernal knowledge here. Why? Because hard to tell, but there's all kinds of languages that you see. You see a lot of Celestial, Common, Elvish, Dwarvish. There's a little bit of Giant and Sylvan. You see some Halfling, some of the runes that would indicate Dwarvish, but you're not seeing almost any Infernal.
Nothing about Infernal history or anything like that. Are you
find a
talking
few
about
things
like
on Mythal
just the
Stream?
language, or are you talking
Both.
about like so that's
you do
why
find
it's
a couple
kinda
things on Mythal Stream, and those do have some Infernal elements to them, but outside of that, not a lot. For you, Valis, what was your investigation check?
10.
A 10. Valis. You get sidetracked because you heard that woman say something about a paladin's heart. And so you make your way back down, you peruse through the fiction section, and after a bit of time,
while I'm perusing,
you do find the Paladin's Heart by Uriel Uridon.
While I'm perusing, since I'm here,
sure.
Can I try to find books for the other members of the Wandering Hearts that they might like?
Sure. What kind of books are you for whom in particular?
If anything that catches my eye that might, I don't know, if it matches any of them.
Roll a D100.
Let's see. D100. That one, and...
Is he not the only one who hasn't? Oh,
yeah.
hasn't?
80.
He said, you did. He reads until he falls a trance.
80.
Well, you took my spot though, and now I'm pissed because I was gonna just go wait on the living map floor and fall asleep somewhere there, but you exist.
With an 80.
Maybe like something about. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no. If you have a particular thing, that's even better.
And this is just like fictional literature, right?
Sure.
So like Stars for Minka, something about maybe Fall or Sir Nunos for Alina, for Billy, maybe something about like making potions or something.
Okay.
For Ori, maybe like a story about a thief or a rogue.
Sure.
And for Cheshire, just like a wild, chaotic adventure. I don't know.
For Cheshire in particular, there's a lot of stuff here. There is an adventure book called A Song for Every Fallen Enemy, The Ballad of Sir Zashtian by the minstrel Illstruck. And this is just a number of different like little short stories and songs. Kind of perfect for Cheshire.
Ballad of what?
A Song for Every Fallen Enemy, The Ballad of Sir Zashtian. Of the other things that you mentioned, there is a book about a thief that goes on a adventure through like a war that is called The Last Song of War by Dorney Carr. And that would be most of what you would find in that time.
Okay. Donnie who?
Dorney
Carr.
Dorney can't write very fast.
DORNEY space CARR.
Okay.
So Ori and Valis, it takes you a little longer, but you do eventually find a place where you can kind of get various books and post up for a trance.
I want to stay within line of sight of Billy, but like in a little nook, so I can just kind of like look out and make sure she's not doing anything fucking stupid.
Not killing anybody's family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Destroying.
So you do that.
Billy
You kind
accidentally knocks the globe over and destroys the entire Aussenloch.
the whole world just starts falling over. Yeah. You can see this person. There's another person in here who has long brown hair. She has various maps out in front of her. You can see a satchel full of scrolls, a compass, other ancient charts. You kind of post up on the same table but the other side. They look up at you briefly, kind of nod, and that's it. You can kind of use them as cover and then look beyond them to see Billy very easily. For all of you, is there anything else that people want to do before resting for the evening? Alina, you're keeping watch.
I don't think I use legend lore, so I would like to use
God
legend
damn
lore.
it.
I'm so sorry.
Legend lore on.
We sort of off mic decided that we were going to share watch so
Okay.
that we could achieve our whole long rest.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a second.
So I will legend lore the Silent Epoch.
Okay.
Phallus cheats.
And I'll just try to make that persuasion check. And I am gonna fail, so I'm gonna fall asleep to this podcast.
Nice.
Ah, the Silent Epoch. Valis. Let us begin with the foundations of the Shadowfell. Long ago. And they begin to tell you, it's a new story, but it really, about like 50 minutes in, he goes, but to really tell you the story of the Shadowfell, we must begin at the beginning. He just goes back to the creation of Alberon.
my trap once again.
You thought. But you fall asleep as he begins to tell you about the elemental deluge for the 4,000th time.
And I don't get anything useful, right?
Nothing useful.
Just the elemental
do be.
deluge.
All of you complete a long rest without issue. And you level up as it
We did it.
We did it, guys.
as the sun rises, less the sun, more the moon sets. Because as you all awake, it is close to probably about 3 in the morning. It is the 15th of High Sun. It is a Monday. You can kind of hear out in the corridor, still relatively quiet. You would imagine the spell that Yearsome has used still very much in effect, at least for the next couple of hours. What are you all doing?
I'll make my way back to the group.
As soon as Alina wakes up and realizes that Billy isn't there, she begins to quietly panic because she thinks maybe Billy left without saying goodbye.
Okay.
Something I just thought about. So the moon is visible, or was visible for the first time.
It was.
There's no like murmurings of people being, because that seems like something that the entire world would be like, that's a thing I haven't
People
seen.
definitely notice within this library, there's only about a dozen people that you have all kind of seen as you rested. And again, from a mechanical standpoint, when you're trancing, you're out. You're not actually really perceiving the world around you. So maybe.
Okay.
But as you kind of wake up, the moon setting and the stars and all of that, for you, Billy, especially where you are, you can see it a little bit better than the rest. You can see that the other person who is there with you, kind of up on this table, every now and then does like just long gazes out at the stars. They're not like face up looking out at it, but they're definitely engaged by it. So what are you all doing?
Alina is going to gather up her stuff and be like, has anyone seen Billy? Do we know where Billy went? I'm going to go find Billy. And then
I'm just going to remain asleep unless
That's
woken.
Okay.
We should go
Alina
together.
will wake up Cheshire, but taking care to not disturb her long rest.
Okay.
I mean, I went to sleep first, so
No, I know.
sure.
Cheshire is the
that's-
longest of rested.
Alina will wake up Cheshire to be like,
permanent
do you know where
marker
Billy
on your
went?
face.
No.
Okay.
Cheshire has been up for an hour.
Did Alina hear some say that he was going to wait for us outside?
Yeah.
Okay, so Alina's going to be like, I'll be right back, and go find Hirsim.
You want me to try to help you find Billy, or did you want to talk to Hirsim?
Do you know how to find her? I thought Hirsim might know where she is.
I'm gonna
go ask
you talk
Hirsim.
to her first.
Okay, you run out. You can see both people at the reception desk look very tired. This must be right at the end of their shift. They wave to you. You run outside, and as you get outside, you can see Hirsim reclining on a couch that seems to have grown straight out of the ground. Living vines. You see cushions of moss. They're talking right now to a female satyr, and they're saying, "And if you could get apples as well, that would be very much appreciated." Ah, Alina! And they kind of sit up as you approach.
Hello, Hirsim. Do you know where Billy is?
Billy.
Did she, I mean, I saw that you guys were, talking. Did she leave the library?
He closes his eyes, and there is this moment of just as he kind of wobbles, and there is an arcane casting. Billy, make a perception check.
You want scrying? I'll give you scrying.
29.
29. Suddenly, as you wake up, this little green monitor appears, an orb, translucent, very hard to see, almost like perfectly clear glass up against the emerald spire, almost invisible, but you see it.
Billy starts like shuffling around in her bag, trying to find if there's any diamond dust left in there.
And then all at once, it disappears, and Hirsim goes, "She's still within the library."
Okay. Do you know what part?
On the 17th floor, or maybe the 16th, I forget.
17.
17th.
Thank you, Hirsim. Thank you. And she's gonna just give him a little head nod and then walk back into the gang.
All right.
As you walk in, you see Valis walking out to Hirsim. I realized I had a question for him.
Okay. She's upstairs with the tree map.
What floor is that?
17.
I'll meet y'all up there.
Do you want me to? Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay. Then Alina's gonna go. Tell the group.
Minka, what are you doing?
Star book.
Starbucks.
Okay.
Star book.
So you
16th floor.
you immediately wake up upstairs. No problem.
Starbucks.
do we cross paths or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Mina's at the 17th floor.
Do you see
And
like
then you awkwardly begin to walk in the
Why?
same direction.
What?
Do you guys fly and just fly up the stairs?
Yeah.
But for you, Minka, you make your way up to the 16th floor. Broken up into these different quadrants. You can see there is a person who is like also just waking up. Their hair is all over the place. This is a tiefling. You can see they have many tattoos of constellations across their body. And they look up at you, they look down, and then they look up again and they go, "No."
Hi.
They just kind of rub the sleep out of their eyes and they look at you and they go, "Shut up." You're one of them. They cross the distance over to you. They look at you and they say, "Apologies, I've been doing research on the stars for all my life, and then you just kind of walk in and you glow like a star. What's your deal? Where are you from? If people cut you, do you bleed the sky?"
Oh my god! Whoa!
No.
I have questions for you. If I ask these questions, do you have some time?
I mean, can you help me find a book?
I'll help you find a book.
Okay, then I can answer questions for help finding book.
Excellent. Do you feel them moving?
Minka's gonna like think really hard about it.
Or is it all just a metaphor, is what I mean?
I don't.
They
think
lean in
so.
and they squint at your cheekbones very, very intently. Do you?
I don't think so.
They take down a piece of parchment and jot that down. Then they turn to you and they say, "When the serpent coils around the zenith star, do your dreams change? Or do they taste like salt or do they taste like silver? Salt or silver?"
What?
When
Does what taste like what?
your dreams.
My dreams do not tend to have a flavor.
Really? Oh, that's fascinating. And she just writes that down. She looks back at you and she says, "Which constellations choose you? Don't lie to me because I'll know if you're lying to me. They always choose and they always leave marks."
I have 3 that I know of.
Which ones?
Chalice. I use that one a lot because people die a lot.
Whoa, what's chalice? like a cup.
Minka's gonna like.
Where is it?
Oh, hang on. Minka's gonna like think really hard for a second. And Alana's gonna like flip back her nose because we learned the actual names of the constellations. But it's a long time ago.
I still remember.
And
in session 13.
it's been
13?
Yeah. This is when we were underground. I keep dropping
Oh,
my...
that was pre-Valis
It's
period.
underwater.
It's while we're underwater, and I have them written down. Oh, that's too far.
Right before.
So,
it
it was like something cup. Cup.
Cup.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, she'll just like channel the cup, the chalice, and be like,
You're just gonna channel the chalice.
I'm gonna channel the chalice as I like stare up and just think like.
Phenomenal. Okay. So first of
what's
all,
its name?
Alana, make an intelligence check.
Okay. I found the potion of water breathing, so I'm getting closer.
There you go.
Let's see. 19.
Okay. With a 19.
I found the page. Arista's cup?
Arista's cup.
Arista's cup, yes.
But you had heard it
Mhm.
referred to as a couple of other things. And as you think about this, Minka, sure enough, as you begin to think about manifesting the chalice form, you see it reflected on this individual's arm.
Ooh, that one.
They turn and they look down and they go, "What do you mean, cup? This is Fiona's embrace. This is a constellation from my hometown. Where are you from?"
Underground.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm adopted.
Oh, that's interesting. And they take down the scroll and they write down a whole bunch of that. And like you sit there for like a solid like minute or two in silence before they say, "So if I were to," and last question here, if I were to press my forehead to yours for precisely 12 heartbeats, would I see what you see?
I've never tried.
They just lean forward, their head, and you can hear they just. Are you getting anything?
No.
Oh, I thought I did, but I guess not.
No, my forehead's
Okay,
all
still
sore.
helpful though, still helpful. And they just write that down. And they say, "Thank you so much for your help. I don't really have very much that I could help or sort of help you with, but you wanted books."
Yes. So actually, considering the number of constellations on your person, you might be able to help me specifically. So, as you know, the constellations have been hidden for quite a while. Do we have record of them before the original obscuring of with the eclipse and all that?
Here. Yes. You're interested in Everest's stars. And they kind of begin to kind of like cipher through all. There's this huge pile of books in front of them. And they would say, "So if I were you, I would start here." And they pull out a book called Treatise on Motion and Stillness. And they say, "This starts by talking a little bit about what these really are and the ways in which they move across the space outside. And once you understand that, you might want to go on to..." A second here. All right.
So we got a book on physics.
They pull out a book that simply says "Guided by the Stars." And this large, almost like a foot tall is this book. And as you open it up, there are beautiful pictures. Across these sort of tan pages, it is a deep, rich, almost like navy blue hue, and then these tiny motes of gold that form stars. Beautiful charted constellations, and you can see separated into the same quadrants that the temple was. Though this is much more detailed. There are hundreds of constellations listed here. And she kind of points out a couple and points on her body and just kind of like pulls down, and on the collarbone shows you where she does in fact have Goretooth strike. And she says, "Yeah, you might not believe me, but Straina's dragons, you know, one black one called Goretooth and others called him the Crimson Grin, but he brawled with the biggest and baddest one for a long time. And they point out another one, and they say, this one's a Trinitar. The Minotaur folk have urban legends talking about the Trinitar. A goat man with 3 horns, you believe. Really mighty and heroic, like, if you believe them. And then this one, and they kind of turn around and, like, pull the robes up, and, like, on their ribs, you can see they have this huge eye that is formed out of different connected stars. And they say, this one's the Northern Gazer. It's from Elderport. They got these irons that are floating around, really spooky looking. This one gazes at the world. Really spooky.
Oh. And that it looks like the same as the
Northern Gazer, when you look at that particular constellation, to you, looks an awful lot like the Red Hawk's Gaze.
Yeah.
Like another constellation within this book called the Warden in the northern sky. And in the western sky, here, it is called the Eye of Emeralds. And Minka, as you look at this, you remember just a couple of hours ago being overtaken by these visions and seeing Alberon backlit by stars. You did not see this eye constellation there. And it strikes you, but that is because you may have been looking from it.
Oh, no. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you for your help. I've been researching stars for my whole life, you know. I'm trying to find the connection between the divine and the stars, and I know that there is one there. Okay. I have more questions, too, if you have a couple days.
I don't, unfortunately. Are you normally here? Or do you normally go live somewhere else?
I live in Mithelstream.
Mithelstream. I don't know where that is. But
it's to the south of here, quite a ways across the boiling sea.
I write a letter somewhere.
Well, I don't really know that, do I?
Okay, no, I mean like here. Okay, I can write. I mean like, is there a place I could send you a letter, because there's a non-zero chance I'll be taking a travel soon that you might find very interesting, and I will take notes for you.
They nod and they say, yes, well, not an address necessarily, but if you send it to Galehex, you can send it, attention, the only non-feathered person in town. It'll reach me.
She's gonna take a really hard look at her and be like...
They kind of stare back at you. You blinked.
I did. Okay, so, similarly, I was the only blue person in my town. So I bet if you wrote a letter back to the Lost Enclave, attention, either the blue girl or...
No, miss, am I just sending this to the underground at large, or what?
the Lost Enclave. It's called the Lost Enclave, but you know what? If you send it to Darkbriar and just go, attention, the hill people, it'll probably make it to us.
You can see she's now doing the exact same look back at you, trying to decipher if you're fucking with her or not, but then deciding that she's not. You're very earnest. And so she just says, to the hill people.
Yeah, that's not actually what we're called, but that's what the people of Darkbriar know us as, and they might actually put the letter aside for us to pick it up.
Okay. All right.
My name's Minka, by the way.
Minka. My name is Alara Winsong.
Thank you. Okay, so, I will do my best to not ruin the parchment this time, and I will send you a letter about my travel through the stars when I get back.
Do you know about the spell prestidigitation?
No.
You can clean things like parchment very easily.
My friend has that one.
I recommend you try it.
Okay. Now, I need to go find the rest of my friends. I will leave this book here. It is too large. And then she just went to the 17th floor.
Okay. You make your way up to the 17th floor.
Two kindred spirits together.
You make your way to the 17th floor. Are you making your way there as well?
Yeah, so Alina would have stopped in to tell Cheshire and Valis we're going to the 17th floor, and only then does it occur to her that Ori's not there either, and that maybe she should have asked about him. But she's going to be like, let's all convene on the 17th floor, and then maybe we can go find Ori. And up we go.
You got it, Alina. Your familiar says, and you all make your way upstairs. So as a group,
How'd you sleep,
I
Josh?
went outside to talk
sorry.
to Hearsome.
Valis, go ahead.
Hey, Hearsome.
Valis. Yes.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, yes.
What is the Pact of Twigs and Thorns? Or the Treaty of Twigs and Thorns?
It is a treaty between the Archfey and the Hags of the Mercandraw. We are forced to cohabitate on the Feywild, and that document ensures that we are more forthcoming in the engagements we must have.
Okay. It said in the Treaty of Four Seasons that we are to do our duties unless it impedes with the Treaty of Twigs and Thorns.
Yes.
Do you foresee any possible conflicts? If, I don't know. You probably don't have time to tell me the entire...
Let me ask you this, Valis. If I did, and if it were to go against this treaty, by you asking me, I would be forced to intervene, wouldn't I? And as an Archfey, my influence is considerable, isn't it? So, perhaps
Next
asking me
question.
this question is not a good idea.
What is the Glimmering Oasis?
The Glimmering Oasis is a place where heroic souls are laid to rest, mortal souls that cease to be after some time. There they may be recalled upon or used as sources of power for those heroes that need a more direct conduit.
Thank you. And do you know anything about the Silent Epoch?
Is that a play?
No, something about a time of great magic, but also it didn't happen.
It
That's all I know
sounds like
about
it didn't happen. Valis, were you in the fiction section?
No, we need to go. Well, I was, but unrelated.
Valis,
we are
the thing about fiction is that it did not happen. You do need to be careful about historical fiction, but it is not real.
Man, he's like, Valis, you need to learn media literacy.
Okay, thank you, Harrison. I'm gonna go meet up with the rest of the hearts.
Good luck, Valis. They sit back on their couch, and you make your way back to the hearts. As a group, you coalesce on the 17th floor. Valis taking a little longer to reach the group than the rest of you.
When Alina sees Ori, she's gonna be like, oh, thank God, I had no idea where you were. We were about to send out a search party.
You're for deceit.
No roll required. Suddenly, you see just the top half of Rez go. I'm kidding. So you all now are gathered around this 10-foot tall globe. You can see the world of Alberon projected across it in this beautiful leafing of different metals. Billy, turning around, you hear suddenly Alina exclaim to Ori, and the rest of the group is suddenly gathered behind you.
You guys took like 8 hours.
I have bad news.
Yes.
What? What?
So, I know, well, maybe it's good news. I know exactly how we can be seen from the sky.
Oh.
I know which set of stars.
Well, that's good news, because then we can avoid it.
See, here's the problem. It's kind of like... And really, we can't, like... No. It's kind of known as, like, the Eye of Emeralds. The big one, and kind of sees us all.
So then that is bad.
Yes.
Very bad.
Yes. But we have a direction in that area if we need to go to the sky.
Is that an option?
It might be.
We need
You
to
mean
go
like-
to the lower
It might be.
floors.
You mean like taking the fight
I
there, if we needed to?
Mhm.
I see.
think all of the information that is going to be helpful to all of us here is going to be downstairs.
Okay.
Should we? Oh, what?
What are you
So
doing?
suddenly, you watch as right in front of you, Billy takes out this
Yet
glowing
again.
and just uncorks it.
Can I stop? Reaction try to stop?
I would say probably not, because there's some distance between you.
Can I shoot at, or quick toss, try to fucking stab her hand with a dagger?
If you really want to.
Can I be like, Billy, what are you doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Make an attack roll.
Billy, stop.
This is
What are you?
quick toss.
Ori? No. What? Oh God. Oh.
Wait, can I interfere with this?
Guys,
Yeah, you
please.
can.
Can I also
No.
interfere?
Yeah, use interception. You can potentially.
I can only help Billy. I can't stop Ori.
Can I try to get between the two of them also?
I would say probably not. Okay. So we have two people
21.
kind of intervening in this stack.
Yeah.
Definitely hits.
21 is a hit. So you're intercepting this. So roll damage for the quick toss. This is towards the bottle.
No, not towards the bottle. Towards the arm that is holding the bottle.
Hit Billy.
To stop Billy from uncorking it.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So roll damage on that, and then if Valis can negate the damage, that might do something.
I should have talked it out beforehand.
I was asleep. I didn't know he was here.
I know.
14 points of light thrown damage.
Can you reduce that to 0, Valis?
No, not to 0. I reduce it by 9.
Okay. So Ori tosses a dagger. It grazes across your arm, and you are forced to drop this bottle. The bottle shatters on the ground, and the magic releases. There is a booming voice that says, "Living map, I seize the weave and stitch and sew new boundaries. Show us a path in soil and rock that leads us to the house that walks." And much more dramatic, instead of Billy uncorking the bottle, you shatter it on the ground and release Hirsam's words onto the map. And the map shifts. Give me 1 second here.
Did Hirsim give you that?
Yeah.
Ori, maybe next time we ask questions first.
It's fine.
How many other minerals do you think is on this thing?
When you speak those words, and as Minka asked that question, you're aware that this globe is slowly beginning to stop. It is no longer spinning, and Everest is oriented directly in front of Billy. Billy, having dropped this, you see the entire electrum-plated surface of Everest flattens out in an instant, save the Tyrant's Peninsula. Up in the northern quarter, you expected that. And this swims into intricate detail. All of the different elements of Electrum now forming just hills and individual tiny little trees. You can see the basalt ribs standing out like blunted quills on a porcupine, forming a secondary border with the Valley of Fireflies that you know to be just south of that. These structures that you can see are festering with tiny little moving motes of Electrum. Billy, make a perception check.
19.
These are tiny. These are like grains of sand, but even at that scale, you can see a little bit of definition. These seem to be creatures made out of fire, represented by little motes of Electrum that move here and there. Maybe elementals or something of that nature. You see just a little bit north of that, the charred forest, represented by hundreds of tiny, spindly trees made out of this little bits of Electrum, almost like tiny bits of floss that come out and then explode into leafless branches. Amongst them, you do see tiny little humanoids, and with that check, they too seem to smolder. You can see that they wander at random, kind of stitching their way amongst the trees. You see a little bit off and to the east of that, Beacon Point Beach. It looks grainy now, the Electrum seeming to become almost pitted and corroded, though there are structures here. You see docks, you see partially constructed boats of a very unusual design sitting within a large camp. Many little individuals moving by here. Dominating the landscape, you see Tyrant's Rest, a huge volcano with a mouth that opens up about 50 feet shallower along its northeastern face. Within this element, there is glowing Electrum that gives a sinister shadow across the northern part of the peninsula. You would imagine the glowing Electrum actually stands in for magma. And in this, you see suddenly that large black dragon come in and rest. Beyond all of that, wrapped into the crawling hills and the ridges of the Tyrant's Peninsula, you see, on upright chicken's legs, protruding from a lone copse of spindly trees, a hut. All around it, you see evidence of a war camp. This is where you will need to go if you want to go home. And armed with your words of power, you know that Hearsome could bring you as far as the Valley of Fireflies, just a few hours from the Ribs. Alternatively, you could extend your journey by several weeks and just sail out of Hopewell. But you can see all of this laid out in front of you, Billy. And the rest of you.
Would be helpful to get the map.
Yeah, I mean, I know where it is, so if it would be helpful for you guys.
Yeah, I've got
We
it in front of
can
me.
look at it later.
Yeah, it's up to the top right.
Yeah, it's like over here.
Yeah.
Can I touch the map?
You walk up to it and you touch it. And as you do, it's hard. It doesn't bend or give or move. You can feel, if you touch like the little spindly trees, the tiny grains of electrum run across your fingers as these things move and touch. This is enchanted. This is something unlike anything. It's almost like the metal itself, though hard, moves in a liquid fashion. This is magnificent, unlike anything that you've ever seen.
The war camp surrounding them.
Yeah.
Igneous, elemental, fire.
With a 19, hard to tell.
Dracon?
Is this?
You said there was a black dragon there?
Make an investigation check. You walk up, now standing next to Billy, getting close, Mika's just touching it.
So we, way back at the beginning of the campaign, we heard of a huge army amassing to the north. And there was
I'm
is
wondering
this
if
that?
that's...
That's
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
wondering if
asked
that's...
that. I was sitting here
sorry.
trying to think.
You said a different word. Is this the army that is being led by Ignatus of Brass?
Ignatus.
That's the
Igneous.
one.
Is what I-
Igneous.
Perhaps.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Okay.
How many massive armies could be in this one peninsula?
Yeah.
But there's
Valley
a
of
dragon as
Fireflies
well.
Gets us back close to
Oh.
Yuppel.
It
Just
does.
saying. We can check in.
And that is where you
Okay,
know
cool.
Hearsome to be able to bring you to.
Investigation.
Specifically,
Yeah.
Elvis.
23.
With a 23, you get close to this, and there is no, like, elements of language that you can make out here, but you do see this large dragon nestled within the volcano's mouth. You do note that here and there are larger elements of metal that look like dragons, smaller than that one, that kind of patrol elements of this land. And there are many more off in Gath. But you don't make out much more than that.
So you know the words to get in.
Yeah, we heard them when we were in the Shadowfell, remember? It just clicked all of a sudden. I realized that those must be the words.
Is that what that thing was saying?
I guess so.
So what is it?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Can you say it?
Oh, yeah.
So you say these words. And as you do, Billy, within you, you feel a shifting and moving sensation. You smell in the stale air here, where there was only the smell of books and maps, something a little closer to home. But that is all.
It makes it like just look at the map and be like, is there any way of getting to the house without passing directly by the dragons?
Given the map, you could cross through this Bright Point Beach. That's directly through a war camp. That would be almost impossible to avoid. That would be fighting essentially an ongoing skirmish there.
Yeah.
And then there is, off on the other side, the Charred Forest. There is cover here. There's no camp built here. This might be easier in terms of like direct confrontation. But there are little burning individual kind of elements moving through. It's certainly not safe by any stretch of the imagination.
Are there any, like, cities or towns up in that area, or is it just all war camp all the time?
All war camp all the time.
Cool. That would be too easy.
Well, actually, on the living map, give me 1 second. You do see a recently added feature. you see just a little bit south of the basalt ribs, only a handful of tiny little buildings, but there is a little tiny cluster of what looks like maybe civilization. And I would say, without too much trouble, you know that this is where Yuppa lives. And it seems like there are perhaps 4 or 5 buildings now.
Yuppleton!
Yes. So Alina is going to, as we're looking at this and feeling doom and gloom, Alina's going to be like, Ori, look, Yupple's got a whole little town there now.
Who's Yupple?
He's our friend.
He's
just a little guy.
I don't think there's time right now.
I know.
We have to go that way anyway.
Look how good.
We need to warn them at least.
Ori, can I see the sword?
That we borrowed from the madam.
It's here. Why is it here?
Well, we left in such a hurry that nothing got put back.
Can I see it for a second?
Remember that?
I guess I'm gonna take the sword, look at it. I'm gonna try something.
Roll a D100.
Yeah.
You look at this sword, polished to a mirror finish.
Yeah, the madam punches you through the reflection.
124.
Okay. With a 24, for a moment, you are aware of the fact that there feels like when you turn this, there is somebody directly behind you. In the reflection, it's like there is a feeling of something occupying that space, but turning around, it's just Valis like 10 feet behind you. It's nothing.
We should give that to Hirson.
Minka's gonna look at her and just be like, let me just... And she will attempt to scry. Is it worth enough to do so?
That's a great
He's like, what?
question.
You can scribe, goddammit!
What's the cost minimum you would need?
1,000 gold.
Oh, surely it must be, right?
It is, yes. It certainly is.
Okay.
Okay.
I wish... Hold on, let me roll an intelligence check really quick. 9. Can I see Yupple?
I would say, you said 9?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, my intelligence check to see whether or not that was a good idea was
gotcha.
a
Make
9.
a wisdom. Okay, so you're saying Yupple. What is your spell save DC?
It is it's a 19, but I believe I get, do I get the, my knowledge of the target is extensive. I know the target well.
I mean,
It's not like a whole ass.
Really,
or
Ori
two there,
kind of
like-
did. You
Yeah.
guys didn't
Or
have
do
to
I-
say
would it just be
that.
first
you're,
name?
you're familiar.
built the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Minka
You're
helped.
familiar.
Yeah,
Okay.
Minka helped build the
So
wall.
let's see.
We had soup with him.
Target makes a which modified by how well you know the target. So because we know them well,
-5.
it's -5. So it goes from 19 to 14.
Okay.
Is that how that works?
No, other way around.
Other way around. So
so
19
to 24.
plus 24.
they fail,
24.
which means all at once, an invisible sensor appears 10 feet away from Yupple. Give me 1 second. What time is this? 3 in the morning.
Is it 3 in the morning right now?
Yep, it's just in bed like.
Hunk shoe, hunk shoe, hunk shoe.
On
No,
the
now up in the-
surface of this sword, suddenly you no longer see behind you. You see Valis waving fades, and you are looking into a dark space. And you see on a slightly nicer bed than you had last seen him, Yupple. This hapless growing blue skin mottled with black splotches. You can see, even as they sleep, leather waders over equally frayed suspenders. You see this shoulder's a little less scrawny. You can see he's actually wearing a little nicer hat, still a very big, broad-brimmed hat. He's still living in the same hut as your eyes adjust. You actually can see over his shoulder where he's sleeping up against the wall in the bed, out the window. The garden has disappeared, no longer a garden there. You remembered it hasn't been doing super well to begin with.
No.
There is a little stone patio that's been built out there, and you can see a small set of chairs and tables that are surprisingly elegant. You also note that within this space, there is not just regular furniture. There is actually a filing cabinet, a little wooden, almost apothecary cabinet, and Yeppel's house seems to also be serving as town hall. This has changed a little bit since you were last there. But you look upon this, you can see that there are fireflies that had at one point disappeared from this part of the valley, have now returned and kind of cluster around elements of the furniture. This is actually, the fireflies are turning as more a response to you guys early in the campaign, clearing out the space.
Oh no, I meant like the filing cabinets and stuff. Is that because of lily pad?
You don't know.
Because I sent lily pad too. Well, no one else knows that's
That is what you see.
Okay, I will, like, stop looking and be like, okay, we can take that back. You guys are gonna be so proud of Yappo. He's doing so good. He's how's his town hall?
Does that mean he's like the mayor? He might be the mayor. Finally, some good news.
Oh, yeah, we probably should give that back though.
The good news.
Unless you want to keep us a look at things, but I don't know.
Why don't we give it to Billy?
Minka, make an insight check as you use this magically for the first time.
Natural one.
This is a safe practice.
Yes. That's the intelligence check from earlier as well. Yes.
Take the sword back and be like...
There's nothing wrong with this idea.
Does this feel like bad to keep now because of...
I would say for free it does, yeah, but like more because for you... you lean on the side of caution with items like this.
Yeah. Should I just leave it in the stacks somewhere?
I would give it to Hearsome.
He might know what to do with it. We can throw it into the sea.
Maybe asking Hearsome is a good first step.
If the plan is to
We
give
are
it
not
back,
near the sea.
if we give it to Hearsome you said has dinner with the madam sometimes, right? So if you're trying to get rid of it, that might be the best way.
Hearsome's right outside. We can ask him.
I'll just go give it back. We need to move.
We know where we're going.
Valis has a plan to get us down below. Once we get down there, it is going to get dangerous.
Did we get an appointment?
No, we're not going to use the appointment.
I mean, I guess we have two options. We do have an appointment with Scholar Born. I don't know what that would do.
You would imagine that you don't. You went downstairs before that guy ever got there. So he went down and was like, oh, sorry. And then he turned around and left because you guys beat him to make the appointment.
Wait, no, he said he was going to go make the appointment.
Yeah. Right. But
Sorry,
then,
that was aggressive.
Oh, right.
No,
because
when they saw him, he was like,
right.
yeah, I'll let you know. And then,
so yeah,
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
So we could do that, but we'd
My
be
appointment?
beholden to Vorn the Scholar in terms of guiding us. The other option we have is...
The only option that we have is to know that when we get down there, anyone that we encounter could possibly have their memories wiped, modified, or taken otherwise, and anyone who doesn't is probably involved in what's going on. As soon as we tell them that we are looking for the things that we are going to be looking for, they will be suspicious.
I thought we were just going to get down there and then just start running.
That's a good plan B for if we encounter something immediately dangerous.
what if we go with plan A, more of Ori's specialty, being a little more sneaky?
That's what I was thinking personally, but priorities.
I can ask a lot of. I can keep the scholar busy. I have good questions.
That's not a bad idea. No, Minka, we need you with us. You're so good at healing us.
Based on what Valis and I have discovered, it seems as if
It's a big we there, but yeah, go on.
the lower levels are most likely where we'll find where the memories are taken. Specifically, which floor did you say it was? 6?
So what I learned is there's an arc line on the 18th floor.
Just one floor up from where you are now.
Javaris told me that there's an arc line on the 6th floor. The 18th floor might take us to the 6th floor. The 6th floor is where they keep the vault of dangerous arcane texts. And what Javara said makes me think that these are the type of texts where if you read, then you will lose your memories, similar to what we saw in the memory threads we found. The 7th floor are the non-magical rare books, but kind of dangerous to read, such as like the Treaty of Jagged Truths. I'm not sure what that is. And the 8th floor is unsorted or damaged books.
And beyond the 6th floor are 5 other floors that we still don't know anything about.
Yes.
And are most likely where we will find
the 2nd floor is the Arcana class office, though.
Which is where we will likely find most of the information that we could possibly need.
Sounds like we're going up and then down, right?
And expect a fight. So excuse me as I go remove myself of this weapon that
Should
is
we
helpful
go
in
talk to
that.
Hearsome first before we do this? Because it's maybe a point of no return. Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Just gonna wait outside for us.
I'll ask him on my way out.
Do you have the stone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ori's gonna go give him the sword.
I've already left.
Sword?
To go
Okay.
give him the sword.
Oh, then I guess we'll
Let
just.
Ori
I guess we'll just go with
wait
him.
Here for a sec. What? We'll go with. Oh, okay.
Why can't we just wait?
We just wait for a second.
We can just wait.
You all wait, kind of staggered across the room as some of you start to go and then stop.
I'm gonna go.
Bonus
I'm gonna go
action
with
dash.
Ori.
Bonus action
Except
dash.
for Ori,
Bonus
who's
action
just
dash.
gone.
As everyone gets distracted, can I remember the words that came out of the bottle?
Ooh.
To use
Yeah.
it again.
You certainly can.
Living map, take us to
Exactly what that was. It's the words were living map. I seize the weave and stitch and sew new boundaries. Show us a path in soil and rock that leads us to the house that walks. And when you hear these words, with your background in not magic, but with understanding the way that words can alter the world. Those words are less important than the voice that was speaking them. Hearsome could have just told Billy to say those words. There's likely a reason that he was the one who spoke them. Now, that being said, were you to infuse enough magic into words, perhaps you could do something similar if there was a place that you wanted to find using this map.
Not necessarily a place, and I don't know if this will apply, but Cheshire wants to know if she can find her other pieces.
Interesting. So what are you doing?
Repeating the first part, but then altering the end to point to the pieces.
Okay. And what are you doing to impart magic into this?
So spongy.
Can I burn the 7th level spell slot?
Yeah, you definitely can. Okay.
We're gonna find those legs.
We already know where one of the
Legs
legs.
for days.
We
Or
don't
was
know
that
how
an
many
arm?
legs?
Oh, okay. Did you? She
Arms
gave it
and
to you, or
knees.
yeah? Okay.
She could have 7 legs. She could have 7 legs.
Tina has a couple of theories, and I think this answer will largely point me in a direction on whether I want to do anything about it.
And almost unbidden, as you cast this 7th level spell out into the ether, you feel it bounce off the air, off a cord, off a thread, and it bounces off another. And almost like music, you can hear, like the strum on a guitar, the weave respond. And almost unbidden, words come to your mouth. And for anybody else who's in here, you hear Cheshire say, living map, I seize the weave, and stitch and sew new boundaries. Show us a path to walk or crawl, to find the other Cheshire dolls. And all at once, the map lights up. One little piece glows off, and almost underneath the entirety of Everest, and at the same time, almost directly above it. Not on Everest, but somewhere above or below. Somewhere within the Feywild or the Shadowfell. And then dozens of other lights appear. Many of them, most of them concentrated in Derby, but one or two of them in Everest, a few in Dominion, and just scattered across the world. And in this moment, Cheshire, there is a part of the song that Tundon had sung to you. And you're recognizing now, you and Tundon look very similar. But you, my dear, are just a doll. And you recognize that, in a way, that was quite literal. There are quite a few parts, but there are also many other dolls. Okay. So, Cheshire does this, the map shifts, hundreds of glowing points, and then just... you just see the living map begin to spin again.
You're not there.
Valis gets back to the group and says, I couldn't follow him, he's too fast and I'm too heavy.
The world is just reverted to the state.
Alina's gonna like raise an eyebrow at Cheshire and be like,
Did that help?
What the fuck was that?
No, I was curious where they were.
And from a mechanical standpoint, Cheshire, you imagine, for you in particular, and perhaps others of a more chaotic or fey leaning, you could probably use a 6th or higher level spell slot to do something similar.
There you go.
Damn, that's crazy.
What's the map showing now?
Her.
I cast
Well-
a 6th level.
Oh.
Yeah. But also no.
What are you?
No.
you said dolls. We know Tundon was one.
Mm-hmm.
Guess there's a lot more of you than we thought.
Well, some of them are me. Like
Huh.
me. Like
Oh.
mine. And some of them are not.
Oh. How many of them are you? Because you seem pretty complete.
Is the map still up?
It's got, when Valis gets back, it's like back to being normal. So like Valis saw nothing.
Oh,
It just
never
looks-
mind.
It literally looks like it did the second that you got up to the top. Even the things that reverted when the glass shattered have gone away. So it's just normal map up there.
Oh yeah, I start cleaning up the glass
Are
while we're
you
talking.
Okay, yeah.
connected to them? Mending.
Yes, but no.
Oh.
It's a little bit crooked, but yeah, it's fixed.
Thank you, Billy.
So
Cheshire would have pointed to where the spaces would have been or were on the map that were specifically connected to her.
So do you see? Do you go to where they go when you go away?
No.
Who else has them?
You're
They're
back.
not all yours?
Well, no. Some are me,
Well,
and some are not. But they're all me, but they're not.
Are there any of them that you want to find?
No. Well, maybe the ones that are me.
this is
But I don't know.
feeling like a promise. It's not a promise.
More if we ever just end up in the same vicinity, maybe?
Do you move?
Well, that depends on
Does you move?
which me are you talking about?
You.
Would you know if we got close to one?
Probably.
Were any of them near the place that we need to go next, which is Tyrant's Reach?
I don't think so. Or is it?
You had seen 3 of them off in that vicinity.
Okay.
Do you want to let us know if you realize one is nearby?
Yeah.
We'll help you get
Okay.
to it.
It should just be a quick stop.
Okay.
Need
Yes,
a
Billy?
quick giant lesson.
Sorry, say that again?
I need a quick giant lesson.
Okay. like a big lesson or a lesson on giant?
And
Like,
I need to use a phrase book. I tried to use the books downstairs and they don't work. They take forever. There's a lore binder down there and you said you have to learn it for months. I just need to learn a phrase right now and then eventually continue learning giant, and you can't use Javaris anymore. Javaris just says the same words over and over again, and Valis, all I can say are 3 sentences.
What sentence do you want to say?
Billy looks around for green dots again.
Make a perception check.
Damn. 18.
You look around, and in this moment, you don't see any.
And Billy just like whispers in his ear, looking around. Turn your back to the forest, and your front to me.
Okay, and I turn and whisper back into her ears those words in Giant.
Okay. So you turn and you whisper.
At this point, Valis knows that those are the words to the hut, right? Or was that not shared?
Trom?
Trom fe sala, trom fo ord.
I think that happened in front of the group. That's fine.
Like you and Billy just talked just now, like the words that you heard about.
No, I meant last week when Alina realized she knew the words.
You shared that with
That
the
happened
Ah.
in front of the group.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Don't say it loud.
Does
Above
it
you.
need to be in Giant?
I know.
Above you, Valis, you know that the Arclight supposedly is. Are you continuing along, or is there more that you wish to do within this room?
I guess we're just waiting for Ori, right?
Yeah, okay. So, Ori, you make your way back down. Having climbed up and down these stairs several times now, they're
We're doing cardio
becoming
today.
becoming good friends to you. But you make your way down, you run out the entryway, and you see Hearsum, who at this point, now eating apples, looks to you and just says, Ori. Yes.
I've come to give you this because it belongs to the madam and
You took that from her.
it was not my intention.
I don't want it.
Oh my god.
The rest of the group, and myself included, felt that it would be improper to continue carrying.
Agreed. You should have left it where it was.
Right, but see, I was a bit waylaid in my plans because of other interferences. I did not intend to take this. This was the key that we were using.
But you could have put it back.
Not really, because I was whisked away.
We're debating semantics now. I will not take it.
Could you suggest something that I could do with it?
Find somebody you don't like and give it to them. But I would not keep it on your person for long. It will invite trouble. There are very few things I can guarantee, Ori, but that is one of them.
Fine. All right.
Find my flute.
Do I just eat?
I mean, you're on top of the Aussenloch. You could just javelin it out.
Some poor dude.
Cool.
What a great day!
My lucky day.
Set it into the middle of a bookcase.
I can cast Disintegrate now. Oh no, it's magic. Never mind.
You can throw it into a volcano!
Oh, we're going to a volcano.
We are going to a volcano.
We'd have to
Put it back and go, well, fuck. I guess find somewhere to drop it off somewhere else then.
There you go. You'll find
Thanks
a nice.
for nothing, Hearsum.
Are you saying that aloud? Okay. You make your way back to the rest of the party. You all reunite on the 17th floor. Are you making your way upstairs?
Hearsum understandably didn't want it.
Well, yeah, I could have told you that.
Well, he also had no other suggestions for disposing of it than don't keep it with you for long.
Maybe
was
we
a
should
wise
throw
man.
it in the ocean.
I had a really bad idea.
Go on.
How far down are we going?
I am assuming
We don't know.
all the way down to the first level if we are to do everything that we will ultimately need to do here.
What if we just leave it here down before we leave?
That's sort of what
Ooh,
I
put it
was
in the
thinking
unsorted
as well,
section.
finding somewhere
best place for
to
it.
just dispose of it while we're here.
I think that's as good an idea as any.
Can we please move?
Yeah, okay, that's the next question.
You
Are
begin
we...
to move up. Are you going as well, Billy?
Yes.
Okay.
Billy is going to think about what would be worse.
Okay, you think about
What
that.
if we leave it
Make
here
a Arcana check, Billy.
and a scholar picks it up?
Flex PM.
I don't.
23.
I don't want that to happen.
If we find it, sorry.
Having this item outside of the monastery has invited bad things. Getting rid of it in the wrong way almost certainly will invite more. You know that when things like this happen, there is a right and a wrong way to go about correcting them. And just ditching it in a dark room, that's the wrong way. Giving this to a different person and allowing this effect to still take hold of someone, that's technically the right way in the contract of the Feywild.
Let's go to the next floor and find the arc light. It should be a small pink gem up in the ceiling, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You make your way up. Billy, your hand is kind of left dangling in the space.
What do you do? You don't want it any more than he does.
Treasure is humming.
Okay.
Leaving it here is worse.
Oh.
If she finds out that we just left it somewhere after having stolen it, whether or not accidentally, she'll go after the person who took it.
What if
She's already mad at me.
she is?
For years.
Damn it, Billy.
Is this out loud or is this private?
I would have pulled her.
I kind of assumed
Okay.
that this was them, and then the rest of you go
If the
upstairs.
rest of you
Yeah,
left,
we're
you left.
behind.
Okay.
We're behind. Yeah.
All right.
For those of you who are climbing the stairs, the top floor of this is domed with an inverted point of emerald that rises into the sky with clouds that whisper by the near translucent top halves of these walls. The ceilings rise in panes up to a central point 30 feet up in the air, and Valis, there, in the center of the space, embedded in the ceiling, is a glowing pink geometric shape, an arc light. It sheds a tiny bit of light, combining with the elements of morning rays that come in through the walls. You can see this lights up a beautiful green light across the room, shedding light on these magical tomes. You see grimoires of the first weave. You see a primer on the weave off into the distance. You see a whole book on ethereal etiquette, what to do if you should come into the presence of a ghost. You see a blonde half-elf scholar who is kind of studying off in one corner. You see an elven wizard with long chestnut hair just hovering 6 inches off the ground, surrounded by little animated chalk diagrams that kind of stitch themselves into the space. You see a half-elf researcher currently squatting in the corner of the library. There is just pine cones, maps, and little fragments of written script all around them. Most of them not paying any attention to you, but you see this arc light 30 feet up in the air above you.
See it?
Yeah, that's pretty far from where we're standing.
I can fly.
Is it
Is-
dim light?
No, it's bright.
Are people around? You said
There are 3 people that are currently in the space visible to you. None is currently watching you. So it would be a stealth check floating across open space to go and touch it. Nobody's paying attention, so it's possible. It's not even super hard.
How high up is it?
30 feet.
Oh wait, I can just fly.
I can just misty step
Oh,
up
wait,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dim light
Okay,
around
Alina's
this,
like,
yeah.
hold
I got
on.
it.
Mr. Varus, come in.
Yes, Valis, who's a friend. I'm always in this gem.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Valis, I'm glad you asked.
Why would you say that?
I have had many feelings, conflicted though they may be, rise up as we are back in my home. I remember the first days of my time here in the Aussenloch as a young scholar, an apprentice really, hoping to one day be an archivist, not understanding what that work would entail. I was young, Valis. I was naive. And I find myself happy to be where I am now. Incorporeal though I may be.
That's good to hear. We found the arc light, and do I need to touch it with the beads to activate
Yes.
it, or can I do it from range?
Use the reagent and physically touch the arc light. It will transport you and anyone standing next to you to the other side.
Okay. Why did they put it so high up?
Probably so no one uses it who isn't supposed to.
It is high up enough that I cannot visualize it. Valis, who is a friend and has better eyes, and eyes in general.
Alright. Here we go back to your old stomping grounds. And then, so, we need to touch the arc light with the beads, but we also need to all be up there. Otherwise, you're just gonna go by yourself.
If it works at all.
Okay, well, I think a lot of us can fly.
Slash levitate.
The others.
It's gonna make also kind of a commotion.
I don't think any of that matters right now, because as soon as we go down there, we're going to be dealing with people who are not going to be happy with our presence.
Do we have a cover story?
Honestly, I haven't given much of this thought, other than if anything gets in my way, I'm going to get out of that situation. However, it needs to happen.
Well, I could just pretend to be the guide.
Great. Let's go with
I
that.
could just say that, of course I'm supposed to be here. Otherwise, how could I get in?
Minka's gonna look at Valis
Okay.
Oh,
and like think about all the other scholars at Aussenloch. Does he have any? He doesn't have any.
No,
of
he's
those
missing the
rituals.
robes. He's wearing paladin-like
Yeah.
armor.
Billy has the robes on now, by the way.
oh, you have
But
robes
when
on?
you look over at Billy,
Mhm.
in the time that you have all been talking, Billy has done a quick change. And Billy wearing robes of the Aussenloch.
Billy also is just like a normal elf.
Ah.
Right, that's a good idea.
That's
Valis takes out his robes and puts them on.
Okay.
Just have
Valis,
those
you
with you.
put on these robes. They're a little faded, but you wear them.
Well, if you wanted us to
This
do
is
that, I can
magic.
disguise us all.
You can do everyone at once.
Yeah.
Can someone give me
Thanks for
onions?
asking.
That's probably...
That
Not a
sounds like a
bad
good
idea.
option.
I don't know.
I am going to try to avoid being detected in any way. I would suggest that we all start with that.
Yes, but it
Know
doesn't
that-
hurt to have outfits on. So
Right,
if we...
knowing that it's likely to fail is what I was going to finish saying. Thank you.
Minka, do you have the spell that lets us sneak around? Ready?
Great.
Should
Okay.
we do that?
Yes, let's
So,
do that.
Cheshire, if
Yes.
I'd known that you could disguise us all better than this nonsense, of course I would have asked.
Seeming.
Suddenly, one by one, each of you shifts and turns into a member of the Aussenloch. And you can kind of decide how that looks. For you, Billy, you just kind of shift and turn right. You are a much more real version of the projection that you had made.
Now Billy's an old normal elf.
There you go. But aside from that, all of you now wear the black robes with the green X's of the Aussenloch from the shoulder to the hip.
Arcanoclast style?
No.
Mhm.
You
Probably
don't
not.
know
We
what
don't
that
know what
means.
that looks like.
And also,
We get down there and it's
I was
just
thinking.
Wrong color.
I thought we were wearing green today, guys.
you're wearing clothes. You don't belong here.
When you get ready, you get
Derek
Aussenloch tank
Iconoclast is the
tops.
newest
They're actually just making like magical meth, and so they have to be naked. While they
It's the sparks, man. It's static.
So now, clad in the elements of Aussenloch attire, are you flying up to the top of this place and using the Arclight reagent?
So, I I can do the sneaky, but I can't, like, levitate someone. I can do one or the other. So do we have a way to get everyone up?
Well, I can fly and I can carry someone. How about you, Trash?
I can fly.
Willing to carry somebody?
If someone could make it a bit darker, I think I could.
Wait, I have an idea, and I have like an extended mage hand reach. She's gonna reach up with the mage hand and just kind of like.
Did that help?
And it's been like embedded. The ceiling has been built around it.
Well, I'm not ready.
And you get the sense that this is so that it's kind of hard to use without being conspicuous.
Yeah.
But you all do look like you belong here now.
Okay.
And so are you floating up in 3 groups to go and touch this thing?
In 3.
I thought we needed the beads.
You do need the beads to touch this.
Yeah, so we need to touch it as one group.
Right. Yeah.
But 3 of you can fly is what I'm saying. So.
Yeah. Oh, so they carry the others.
Yeah.
So who's the third that can fly?
I can fly a lot slower. I would just cast levitate on someone because I don't think I could physically pick someone up.
There you go. There's still 3 people who
So-
can fly, and then one more person. You're instead of picking somebody up, you're just casting.
Yeah. I'll do it on Valis because he's probably the heaviest out of
That
all
makes
of
sense,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cheshire, could you give me a lift,
If I have to.
please?
Why you gotta be so heavy?
I'm sorry. Thank you.
And you fly Ori up.
Leah's gonna
Valis,
take
you
Billy.
levitate a little uncertainly up. The rest of
I
you.
would just like kind of hold, like pull him up with
yeah,
me.
Yeah. You're casting levitate with touch. For you, Alina, you pick up Billy. You kind of carry Billy up. All of you make your way up to this top of the ceiling. You do see one of the people kind of looks up at all of you as you go up. Valis, are you touching the beads to this arc light?
I have a really important question.
Yes.
In order to fly, I need to channel the dragon.
Okay.
Does that break through seeming, or does seeming cover that?
It breaks through seeming for sure. Yeah. So
Oh,
there's just
hold on.
radiant light that just would emanate out from that space.
Maybe
Um,
I
if
can
you-
carry too.
If
Wait,
Valis,
if he can fly, he can carry you.
Valis,
Also
No.
true.
I could also.
Valis, we could all get up there, and then Valis could face step,
Also true.
Yeah.
so that you could levitate up, and yourself up,
Let's do
That
that.
would also work.
Okay.
and then you just face step up, and then we all like touch you before you fall on beads.
We don't have to touch him, right?
No, we just need to be next to
Yeah.
him.
Never
Yeah.
mind, you just
Okay.
touch the beads to it.
So is that what you're doing?
However,
Yes.
we need to.
Let's do it.
That sounds good. Okay.
Cheshire levitates Ori. Minka, you levitate yourself. Alina, you carry Billy. And finally, for you, Valis, you face step up.
We're all just waiting. At
Now
the
he's thinking about it. Everyone's looking up our robes. Come on, man.
No, I'm gonna cast animate objects on my swords, and I'm gonna tell them to levitate towards the top, and I'm just gonna hold on to one of them.
That's adorable. He's saving face stuff because it's good at getting out of trouble.
And also, like, now
Worse.
I have this ready in case
So,
we go into a fight.
Rules of Certain doesn't necessarily work that way, but Rules of Cool, and because, in my opinion, you're kind of using a really high-level spell for something that's very big.
He's using,
Sure.
he's using a high-level spell to Mary Poppins his way up to the ceiling.
You basically make a Mary Poppins escalator of swords.
Oh yeah,
holding
you know what?
kind of
I like that better. I walk up my thing of swords
say,
and
this
just
is
keep
like
going.
old school Oblivion style.
You don't have them anymore.
So, very much like Magneto. The sword just you take a step up each one. The metal from your armor clanks off each sword.
Damn, if he was on that staircase, he would think it was so gauche.
And you get up to this
Fucking
arc
awful.
light and you touch the beads, and there is a moment, just a blip of arcane light, and you are surrounded by a glimmering, glowing, purple-pink sort of glow for just a second, and then your eyes adjust to the dark light. You are in dim light now, already. There's a geometric shape that luminesces with brilliant light for 5 feet around it, and then dim light an additional 25 feet beyond. This is the arc light, and it hums with arcane energy. Here, the spiral staircase straightens out, You can see that there is stonework that sinks into the iron, and then below there is a room. You can't quite see it, but it hums with arcane energy. Directly in front of you, you can see there is several cages that have been crafted out of several different elements. You note adamantine as you have just left a spear made out of it, but you see similar metal to the staircase woven into these cages as well, and you see powerful arcane tomes. Directly in front of you, a small scroll of gold leaf with silvery lettering upon it. The text disappears and reappears. You can see just intense infernal writing across it. You see off in a different cage a book of shadow. You can see just dark cover, the pages themselves almost flickering with this infernal energy. You see a polished electrum tome, so reflective it seems blank. The pages themselves made from papered metal. You see what looks like a manual, fitting for today, as there are just two flexing arms that are kind of on the cover. But because it is 10:10 and a good place for us to take a break, as you look at these dangerous and arcane tomes, this is where we're going to end for the evening. But Wandering Hearts, you have leveled up because just stretched hands. You have leveled up, and when we get to next week, you can continue to explore the Aussenloch. You have made it to the non-public section within this library, and you would imagine being caught here, you'll have some explaining to do.
Or worse, expelled.
But please, you can join us next week. If you can't wait that long, you should follow us on Patreon, because sometime next week, a brand new one-shot called Alberon After Dark, Deadly Sins will be showing up there. That's leather and plasma, and that will be at a different time. But please, whatever you do, stay safe. It is wild out there. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.